Oh no!
What? What happened?
Spaz's name's missing.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm not here.
Oh, you're there. We just don't know.
Yeah. It's two title screens in a row. Yeah. So this is Big D and Shane from TacoYaki Anime. And today with us back again is Spaz, the spastic one.
Oh.
Don't sound too thrilled.
So, what do y'all think of the season so far?
Kind of meh.
I'm happy a couple of them got extended into this season,
Mm-hmm.
Just
which I'm still watching.
In general, though, it's just been kind of meh.
Okay. I am surprised at this season because over the last few seasons, there was a bunch of shows that were out, but I was able to like knock them out in a weekend to just sample everything. And this, I wasn't able to get to everything. I thought I did, but then when I went and looked at the list, I missed 5 shows that we talked about last time that I definitely wanted to check out. And some of them y'all have seen, so I will be interested in your opinions. But this is actually a good season for me. There's a bunch of mediocre stuff, and then a lot of stuff that I was interested in, and then some good stuff. So I don't know. I think for me, 2020 is kind of starting off pretty good.
It's a start.
Yeah. So today we have 14 shows we're going to be talking about. And the first show is My Hero Academia Season 4.
I didn't put it on there, but this is one I had watched and current on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to wait till the end of the season so I could just knock it all out.
So in other words, we can't spoil anything for you.
Oh. So I'm assuming some crazy stuff is already starting. Oh, what's his name?
What's his name?
The going through stuff and.
Lemillion?
No, don't say that. It stopped on a really, really, really big cliffhanger.
It technically didn't stop.
Yeah, you stopped watching it.
Okay.
You missed seeing Deku go Super Saiyan, though.
Okay.
And there's no other way of saying that he went Super Saiyan.
Okay. Cool. So, it sounds like the current battle is still raging on. Is it kind of over and it kind of went back to like regular days, or is it still just chaos?
We're kind of back to normal, I'd say, kind of. Just barely though.
Okay.
It's kind of the aftermath. Everybody's still it's shell shock kind of for the people who were part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those
they're
that
not quite back
kinda,
to normal.
Yeah, and those that weren't are kind of trying to catch up with what was going on.
Here, eat this cake.
Well, they know crazy stuff happened. They're just not sure to the extent of what craziness there was.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't know. I don't know what to
See, if you're not current on it, there's nothing we can really say about it because there's nothing we can really. It's too
literally
much.
A continuation of right where you left off.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I mean, I guess the only thing we can say is just currently, they're now.
They made the right choice by not putting it on hiatus, but continuing into the next season.
No, for sure. But I was gonna say that the Bakujo and
Shoto.
Shoto are now going to get their license now at this point, or at least as a boy.
Cool.
Oh
So,
boy.
that's pushing everything else that happened aside. Yeah, no, they're about to go get the license, so that's fun. That's like the only thing we can really talk about through the entire.
So for that, like, I can't. Why were they not able to do that again? I can't remember.
They failed.
Yeah.
They failed the original test.
Because
they didn't rescue enough people, or pretty much they weren't ranked very high on.
Yeah, because they were squabbling, and what was it? The dude from the other school who had the wind powers was fighting against Shoto, and like basically they weren't acting heroish.
Okay.
So because they were squabbling with each other and not doing what they were supposed to be doing, is the reason why. So
they basically had to take some makeup classes or whatever.
Basically, they were having to take remedial classes, and now at this point, it's the actual test itself.
Again.
Yeah, again. So.
So they could still fail it and have to do remedial classes.
Yeah, they could still fail it.
Okay.
But apparently, like right at the end of the last episode that came out, the sleepy guy who runs the thing and the whale hero were talking about amping up the testing or whatever.
Yeah.
To be harder. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I guess we're going to find out as far as what the extent of what they're going to do is. And then you have the wind guy, and then the one girl that what's-her-face had made a duplicate of is now actually there.
Cammy is her name.
Yeah, Cammy. There we go. I'm horrible with names. Cammy's actually there.
And it's not Toga.
Yeah, and it's not Toga this time. So,
okay.
I mean, yeah. It's like you can't try not to spoil anything and not say what's going on and to the extent of everything. Like yeah. I can't say hardly anything at all about the entire show, the season up to this point, because we literally just got done with that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
season 4 is still good.
No. Season 4 is amazing. I mean, the fact that what was it? That episode that, and I know Spazno, one that came out, that specific episode was actually trending on Twitter. Should tell you how
the Super Saiyan.
Yeah, which should tell you how badass and good this series has been, or this season's been so far.
Okay, so that's been two shows. First it was Demon Slayer, and then now it's this one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's social media trending.
I'm hoping they end it where I think it might end. I think it'd be a great way to end this season.
Okay. So as far as the manga goes, do you see like any kind of end in here, or is this gonna be like a One Piece where it's just 1,000 episodes?
It's still got quite a ways to catch up to the actual manga.
And where the manga is at, is that actually like, are we either nearing a conclusion, or are we still going on that?
Deku just finished his next training with another hero.
Okay.
So his third
sensei.
Yeah. And the third one is someone that honestly even I didn't expect it to happen.
It looks like it's some cool stuff to look. So that's probably going to happen in what, season 5?
That's a ways out. Because
okay.
there's probably going to be a season that's dedicated to nothing but the villains.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's very cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. Season 8. How many seasons does Dragon Ball Z have? Like 9, I think?
Too many. Because most of them was just Goku screaming for an episode.
Yeah.
I
To be fair, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I feel bad. Dragon Ball Z is kind of the butt of all of our jokes.
Well, I mean, anyone who watches anime in any sort of capacity, it's just the butt of everyone's jokes, regardless.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the whole Star Wars effect, where it's like you grew up with the first three, and then they made the prequels. And when the prequels first came out, everybody's like, "Oh, this is cool," and then they look back to them and they're like, "No, these are terrible." And then they made.
I actually still like the prequels.
I haven't gone back to watch them. I watched the original three when episode 7 was about to come out, but I never got to the prequels, so I don't have a fresh look back at those. So for me, I don't know. It's like I know a lot of people feel betrayed, so I'm kind of curious if Dragon Ball Z is kind of like the same way, where it's like you grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, whether it's on Toonami or any of the other ones that they aired on, and then now you see a lot of the other anime that either took its inspiration from Dragon Ball Z or just new artists and story writers and all that kind of stuff. And also, especially with how efficient anime is now. Like you could have a 12 episode series and they barely do anything, and then you could have something like My Hero where they cover so much. And
The training for Deku only lasted what, 3 days?
yeah, and it's like
I'm the TacoYaki.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the pacing for My Hero has been so much better though than most other animes, really, because we're not lingering on anything, we're not slowing down on anything, we're just literally keeping pace with it as is, essentially, and I enjoy that. So but we're not having 25 episodes of you know.
Next season on Dragon Ball, will Goku stop yelling?
No, he's not done yet. But so it's cool to see like how anime that we grew up with, because there were some good ones back in the day too, like Cowboy Bebop. I'm kind of curious if I were to watch Cowboy Bebop again, how much of it do I think would be filler compared to like main storyline. But yeah, it's really cool to see like for this show, like I can see 8 seasons happening, and it's gonna cover so much compared to like Dragon Ball Z eight Dragon Ball Z's 9 seasons, I think, and I feel like My Hero could have done that whole story by now.
Oh yeah, no, easily.
Yeah.
So let me find out how many chapters are in My Hero right now. I think it's 157, 158.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Sorry. 257.
Okay.
So I want to think. Where's this guy at? Oh, actually, we're probably around chapter 170, I'd be guessing.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Actually, I pretty much nailed that spot on. Yeah, that was just guessing.
Yeah. There we go. Bunking out here 8 seasons in another movie.
Yeah.
The movie. That movie. No.
I actually need to watch that movie. I haven't seen it. I know it was airing in theaters too, and I just missed it completely.
Oh, I was talking about the new one that's coming out.
Oh, there is another one. Okay.
Yeah.
What is it covering? Is it like separate from the story, or is it kind of like interweaved between seasons?
There's a lot of spoilers in it. I would stay away from watching it.
Okay.
Not until you catch up to where we're at right now.
No, where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Well. Okay. Watch the series. Don't watch the movies for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's actually what the guy said, essentially.
All right. So that is it for that one. The next show we're going to be talking about is 22/7, or what was it? Nana Nichijo something. I didn't read anything at all about this, and I after I watched it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. And then I read the description, and they're like, oh yeah, it's AKB48. So I was like, oh, that big idol group. That okay is based on one of the people who worked on some of their stuff. They're like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I read the description when I saw that you had it on there, and I'm like, what even is this? Because like Annie Chart describes it as music drama, but the way it reads, I'm like, is this some sort of spy drama? Like, what the hell? I mean, you read the description for it, right? I mean, it's just like.
So I read the old one. I haven't read the new updated.
So, like, okay. One day, Miu suddenly receives a letter notifying her that she's been chosen as a member of a brand new project. Half in disbelief, she heads over to the location stated in the letter. There, she finds 7 other girls summoned there in the same fashion. The girls behold a giant top-secret facility. They stand in bewilderment as they're told, you're going to be a debut for a major record label. They're like, wait, why are we in a top-secret facility? A new kind of idol, never before seen, is about to be born here. And I'm like, some like fighting group? What the hell? What is going on here?
They're gonna fuse them all with different animals.
Oh, okay.
Some Full Metal Alchemist stuff's going on.
Let's play.
From what I've seen, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
Okay, so back in early college days, I discovered what idols were. I found a few different groups that I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And now, 10 years later, those are kind of like some of the groups that I like hold dear to my heart because I literally grew into adulthood listening to that music. Now I have like, there's like 3 different groups of like 3 different types of idols. Or 3 different types 3 different categories that I put idol groups in. There are the way too young, and I'm not dealing with that. Idols.
Why are you wearing such skimpy clothes? You're a freaking grade schooler.
Yeah. Then there is the there's 2 different styles of music for them, but it's like the good idol. I don't know. The good. There's the good idol groups that like, what is it? There's like one that's like death metal and baby metal. There you go. Yeah. What? Like, so that's it's like there's baby metal. There's a few different other types of idol groups, and they come across a bunch of different genres. But I call those the good idol groups because they're widely known by a bunch of different people, or at least a bunch of different anime people, or people who are into Japanese culture and stuff like that. And then there's the ones that I don't like as much, but they're still in that same category. They're like old enough. And then there's like the anime idol groups, where like it's basically the characters that are in the show singing the intro with idol style music. So this one is the second category. It's like quote unquote, but this like they're old enough and they're basically, this group basically scouted them, and they didn't even audition, and like sent these notes out to everybody, and they're like, meet us here at the zoo, and they're like, the zoo. And there's this whole introductory scene where like everybody's personality is shown off, because one thing that's typical in idol groups is everybody has their like, well, it's not cliche. What is it?
It's
Everybody has. It's another word for like a character type. What is that?
Click.
No, it's class. All those are close, but I can't remember the crap. I can't remember the word for it, but it's like this type of character, and everybody basically showed theirs off, and how some clash with others, and like some things they're better than people, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like everybody showed off their personality in that one scene. I'm like, oh, this is the introductory scene where you get to know who all the main characters are. Cool. And then this big giant bald dude shows up, and everybody's like, like freaking out, and he's like, come with me. And then they walk down this like long dark tunnel, and I'm like, oh, this is the part where they all get kidnapped. Cool.
By the big, tall, bald guy.
Call with me if you want to live.
Yeah, so I'm like,
that's not creepy at all.
You know, like, why are y'all following him into this dark tunnel? And then the elevator opens up, and it's all nice and bright, and then they go down to like all these different floors, and they get this weird montage of a tour, to where you find out there's this giant secret facility that's like perfectly designed to train the best idols in the world. I'm like, okay. And then they get down to the bottom, at the very bottom. I'm like, oh, that's what the dungeon is. And it's this weird like ceremony room. And I'm like,
is there any circles on the floor?
Circle on the wall.
Oh, see, there's the alchemy circle.
There's this giant like design on the wall, and the guy, everybody gets down there, and they're like, "What is this?" And he's like, "And here's the wall." And I'm like, "Okay." And they're like, "We stand here and wait for the wall to command us." And I'm like, "Okay, tour is over. It's time to go home." And basically explains what's going to happen. And the main character that you started the show with, she, like, her mom's sick and her sister's too young to do anything. So she's basically not going to go to college. She's going to get a job so she can help take care of her family. And hopefully her mom's okay and all that kind of stuff. So she has a lot on her mind. And she's like, I can't deal with all this. I'm just going to leave. And then the guy was like, you will be back. So she's like, eh. And she goes and leaves. She goes to her job, loses her job. So then she tries to find another job, and nobody will hire her because of her she put up at her old job, because it's kind of one of those like keep to herself, kind of awkward, short and blunt and not friendly. So that word has traveled around, so she can't get another job. And then basically she goes, of course. As soon as she goes, everybody's waiting on her, and they're like, we need to, like, can we just start? She's not coming back. And then one girl's like, I believe in her. She's going to be back. And then like 3 seconds later, she like busts through the door and is like, I'm back. And I'm like, oh my God. So then,
boom, baby.
So as soon as she comes back, she made this huge declaration, kind of like, be like, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. I'm gonna be the best. And then all of a sudden the wall starts shaking, and it's like boom, and like it got activated, and like this gold, like actual gold metal card comes out of the wall and slides down this little chute thing, and that's their first set of instructions. And then the episode ends. I'm like, what is this?
So does the big tall bald guy have a blonde mustache?
No.
Damn, I was thinking it might have been one of the characters from Full Metal. That would have been better.
Nah, he has that stereotypical Yakuza look, where it's like black suit, black glasses, bald head.
What is it with all the shows or media like going to like occult type settings or some shit?
Well,
Even when they
are.
don't need to, it's like everything's now about the occult. It's like, why? We're gonna have idols be in the occult.
And it's like it's not fully occult, it's just that the dungeon room at the bottom, that's it. I was like, it's weird.
Hey, that's just wrong. There are occultists that can't commit. Come on, if you're gonna be in a cult, commit all the way.
You know what's weird? It's like, I don't know how somebody
Their lyrics summon Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's like I don't. It's like the more I think about that facility, I'm like, because they basically like the wall controls all, and like it's weird. So I'm like, how did some archaeologist or whatever like discover the wall, and he just happened to be an Idol fan, and then like the wall sent out this gold card and was like, you must build the best Idol facility above me, and he's like, yes sir, and then they built that facility, and it just happens to be under the zoo. It is weird. I'm like, okay, weird premise. I have no idea what the rest of the series is going to be about, but I don't know. It's like I'm not finishing this season. I'm kind of curious, like, what commands is the wall gonna say? What other interesting things? The audio in this show is mixed. Really, it's either mixed really weird or my speakers are messed. Like the voices. Like she was at the end. She was on the other side of the room and she was talking and she sounded like she was right next to me. And I'm
obey the wall. We must obey.
So
And see,
yeah.
the wall isn't really anything. There's just a horny teenager behind it.
Oh my god.
Oh, so it's like that one episode of Futurama.
You're talking. Oh, it's pretty much Wizard of Oz.
The Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Amazon episode.
I was thinking Wizard of Oz.
Ah. Either way.
So let's see. I've only watched one episode. How do I like the story so far? I'm intrigued, but not enough to finish it this season. Do I like the characters so far? I haven't latched on to any of the characters. Like, they're like, oh, here's 10 characters. You get 30 seconds. You get 30. We don't like you. You get 10 seconds. And then they just throw everybody at you. And then the one character that you get the most screen time with, they've built out her sad story. So you're kind of like, oh, okay. But I don't like her because she has the attitude of woe is me, and she's kind of mean to everybody, so everybody's mean to her. And I'm like, that's your fault. I don't feel sorry for you that people don't like you because you're being a jerk. So the one character that you have the most time with, I don't like her. And everybody else is very cliche and whatever that term is. They fit in like a specific type of character. And then
stereotype.
And this is another word. Archetype. There we go. Archetype.
Okay.
Yes. It's basically like, hello, here's 10 archetypes. We're gonna be a story. I'm like, okay.
But I don't. Okay.
So, am I gonna continue with this season? No, not at all. And are there any standout moments? Like, I don't know, her like screaming, declaring that she's gonna be the best. That was interesting.
Gonna be the very best, like no one ever was.
I was going with no one is ever gonna keep me down.
Oh yeah. It's Pokemon for me. Man, if they had Pokemon in there, that'd be even better.
God. Oh my god. Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas. They might dress up one of the girls in a Pikachu outfit now.
I'm surprised they don't have like little familiars or a mascot. I'm like, they're like, no, that's episode 2. That's like on the 3rd floor. But yeah, so one day I'll come back to this one. Just not now.
It's going in the vault. To never be remembered.
Yeah. All right. The next show we're going to be talking about is Darwin's Game.
So yeah, how was this? I forgot about this one. Yeah. Totally forgot.
I read this one
Okay.
because I couldn't find a place to watch it.
And basically, everything you couldn't find is on Funimation.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, Darwin's Game. This is way better than King's Game.
Okay.
Way better. Way better characters, better action, just better and like it's a good show. Have you seen Batoon? Or read Batoon?
I've read it.
Yes. Do you think that they're a bit similar?
I like this one better because of the sigils.
Okay. Yeah, and basically Batoon, you were basically it's kind of like what was it? Battle Royale, where it's like last person standing lives, and in Batoon, you get an item, and you just use that to try to survive. You can take other people's items and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, basically Darwin's Game is somewhat similar. I don't know the whole way that the game is set up from what I saw in the first episode.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chapters to it. I don't think this one will be as big of a series as like My Hero.
Okay.
But I think it'll get, depending on reception, at least a couple seasons worth.
Okay. Cool. That's good to know. So yeah, basically, Darwin's. Is it kind of like Battle Royale, where it's like basically whoever's the last person standing with?
It hasn't really explained that.
Okay, yeah, because it didn't explain in the first episode.
Because it's not really Battle Royale in a sense. It's more like just, hey, you want stuff? Yeah, just go out there and kill these people.
Okay.
You want to be leveled up? Yeah, you got to fight.
Okay, so it's kind of like they took the scenario of Battle Royale and made it into like how like hop in, hop out, how you do with like mobile games and other like actual battle like the Battle Royale games of today, where just like quick little rounds, you get what you need, and then you can come back and forth as much as you want as far as the games go. But
once you're out of points, you're gone.
Yeah. So basically,
it's like a Excel World.
Yes, I need to go back and watch that. That was one of my favorite shows back in the day. So yeah, basically in the first episode, it starts out with basically a battle going on. One person is running away from the other, and
he sends out a message, sends for help.
Yeah, he sends help to both of his friends or just one?
He sends for help to the protagonist.
Okay, and then the other one knew that he was in the game and was wondering why he didn't send the message to him. But yeah, so
and that's how our main character gets into it.
Yeah, there's this in the world. There's this kind of like urban legend for the regular people about they started calling it body outline art, and the ones that they showed and then what actually happened, like in the pictures that they showed compared to the ones that actually happen in the world, are different. I don't like how different that they are, because it's basically like a pixelated outline, and the pictures, there were more steps to it, and it was more like intricate. But whenever the situation happens in a battle, it's big chunks, and it looks like way different. So I'm not sure if that person lost in a different way than the ones that happened in the pictures that were in the rumors, or they just made it different for some reason. But
I think those ones are kind of copies of it, because everything else is a giant blocks.
So that was kind of like a
copycat.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense then. Cool. Yeah. So basically, the main character, the guy with the gun, he gets he gets
Kid's got a gun.
yeah, he gets not roped, but like he gets sucked into the situation because of his friend calling for help. Um, Basically, what happens, I don't know if it's like a distance thing or like a request thing, but basically, once two people are in a world, you can set up a match between the two of you, and it's a match to the death unless certain um, requirements are met. Because
You can surrender,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
person has to accept the surrender.
Oh. Did he accept? I thought he just passed out. Anyway, um, so yeah, it's a fight to the death, and you can surrender if it's agreed upon on both sides. After what? How do you get to the? How do you get the money? Because once you win, you get points, and I guess you
It's automatically put into your phone.
okay, and then I
You
guess you
can
can.
choose what to spend the points on.
Yeah, so it's like a mobile game where you get like you're like, oh, I want some more crystals. Let me put in money, and then you get crystals for the game. So it's like the other way around. You get the point system, and then you can use those points to get something in the real
I
world.
think it's like 10 points for like 100,000 yen.
Cool.
It's something kind of absurd.
Yeah, and they didn't explain how many points you get per match. So
It depends on the rank of the people in it.
Okay.
So if you're a low rank and you beat a high rank, you're going to get more points than if you're fighting somebody of the same rank.
And is it the person who challenges first, or just a matchup in general?
As I said, it's all based on pretty much your level.
Okay, so yeah, so it doesn't matter who initiates it. If you're the lower part, if you have the lower odds, then you get higher payout.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the way that the show kind of played out. Let's see. How many episodes have you watched? I've only seen the first episode. You've read it. You haven't watched it. Okay. All right. So yeah, I only watched the first episode. Compared to other stuff that you've seen similar to it, do you like? You said you like this one better than Platoon.
Yeah, considerably.
Okay.
Platoon wasn't bad, but I like this one just because of the characters. They've actually fleshed them out. They fleshed out the abilities. They make it very concise about the world that they live in.
Okay. Yeah, I do like it. I do like the it's like I'm not a big mobile game player, but some of the stuff that I do see in some mobile games that I do play, I like how they implemented some of those things into this, kind of like the whole point system. You get to redeem for stuff, and then depending on, I can't remember what was the thing that happened where he got he was able to get his first item. Was it just like for signing up you get bonus points and then you end up getting the gun or something?
I don't remember how he got the gun.
Yeah.
I thought that was after his first victory.
Okay. Oh, it was. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
his first victory wasn't even caused by him.
Yeah.
So their battles actually happen in the real world.
Yeah.
And his opponent got hit by a car.
So it's really interesting how the lines don't cross. Like before in some shows, they're like, and battle activate, and like this dome appears and like they get transported somewhere else. And it doesn't affect the real world. Like this world doesn't care. Like this game does not care about the world. Like you could be a regular person and just get hit by crossfire and you're gone. And there's no.
But you are not seen by the outside world while the game is active.
Wait, then when he was chasing and then okay. That happened in the first episode. I'm not sure if they changed that for the anime then. But basically the protagonist called out to somebody and when the guy tried to intervene, he got killed right away. So I'm not sure how that plays into it, but yeah, for a lot of things, I like the way I like the way that it plays out in the anime where there's no division between game and real world. Like everything's there together. So it's interesting how that plays out.
Have they introduced Gothic Lolita yet?
Yes, very first episode.
Okay.
Who do you have any favorite characters out of what you've seen?
There's a couple, but I actually like the protagonist.
Okay.
I actually like what his ability is once it actually gets explained.
Okay. At first I thought I would like the gothic girl, but I haven't. I don't know.
You think she's creepy?
I don't. Yeah, at the end of the first episode, I was like, all right, this is too much.
So where did the end of the first episode end?
Basically, the battle got canceled, and then he woke up next to her.
Okay, yeah, she surrendered.
Yeah, so yeah, and then she made a request, and I'm like, okay, I need to figure out more about these people.
The whole "be my family."
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is too much. I gotta spend some more time with these people before I figure out what's going on. So so far, I guess I like the protagonist. I kind of liked his friend, but that's what I get. That's what I get for liking his friend.
That's a faster turnaround than Game of Thrones. Hey, I like this character, and he's dead.
That's usually how my favorite characters go.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude's cool. He knows about the game and everything. Too bad he's hurt because he can't explain all the rules. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, after this fight's over, then when they get together, then episode 2, he'll be able to explain all the rules. And then we get to see how cool this guy is and how much experience he has. And he'll be he'll be my favorite character. And he didn't make it that far. So, yeah.
There's still a few more members of the ensemble to show up.
Okay.
Don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say who they are or what their powers are.
Cool.
But there's some real cool stuff.
Okay. Will you continue it this season, or will you start? It's on Funimation. Do you think you would venture out over there to watch it?
No, I've already read pretty much all that there's going to be.
Okay.
So I'm fine with rating that one.
Cool. Yeah, I very much like this show. This is one of the better battle royale-ish type shows that I've seen. So I'm definitely going to continue this show. And
just wait for the actual battle royale to happen in it.
That's going to be cool. I would say my favorite moment in the first episode standout moment was when that first fight with the panda, like it dragged on for most of the episode, and I was tense the whole time until it ended. I was like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool. Now that that's over, what's going on? But yeah, I would say the battle with the Panda Man.
So I like what stand out for me, because you told me where you got through, is his fight with the Gothic Lolita. Everything that he planned out and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because he pretty much used like the flashbang as a distraction and.
Okay. Yeah, so he's resourceful.
Yeah, he is out of all the protagonists I've seen for animes and mangas, he's definitely one of the smarter ones.
Okay. So that
which definitely it lends itself to the character.
Yeah.
because he's not like genius IQ level, but he lays out traps and stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, this might work.
Okay, so that's usually a trait in characters that Psycho ends up liking. So I think you would like him too. But yeah, so that is Darwin's Game. The next show we're going to be talking about is Infinite Dendrogram.
Ha. Was I the only one to watch this one?
I actually watched it as well.
Just the first episode?
Yep.
I wasn't too impressed, I would say, by the first episode. I didn't really think much of it, but I thought, let me give it another episode or two. And it wasn't until I watched some of the later episodes, I'm on episode 3 right now, that I think it really started to shine through. Because it really kind of made itself out to be like a very generic, going into a game and all this, that, and the other thing happening, and he gets a powerful partner or whatever, and now he's got the power or whatever.
Yeah,
Thunder.
I thought it was very
Thunder.
average.
Thunder.
Yeah,
Basically.
Oh. But meeting some of the other characters in it, I've really been a little bit more impressed by it. So say, let's see what I'm looking at. Any chart right now. What picture do you have up there? They're the same. No, don't do that. Yes. So you have the same picture up there. The two characters on the left-hand side are another pair of another player plus his embryo, his partner, essentially. And she's absolutely hilarious because unlike his partner, the main protagonist, his partner, the other guy he's standing there with his partner's a half succubus. So she does things that are just like, she doesn't really think about what she's doing or mean what she's doing. She just does them because she's also kind of an airhead character. And then you're like, oh God, just, it's not one of those, oh God, you're too annoying. It's, oh God, just, stop. No. That's wrong. But she's like, you can't necessarily say anything bad to her because she hasn't really realized what it is that she's doing. She's just doing it. Okay. And then she has this weird thing where like his embryo like eats just an absolute shit ton all the time. Because of the way she is, she enjoys sweets, but she enjoys them with just an absolute mass amount of hot sauce. Which was one of those I was like, oh my God. It's the first time she has like a parfait, and you're looking at it, and I'm like, and next thing you know, you're seeing these bottles like piling up next to her, and I'm like, what are those, like chocolate syrup? And then they make a comment, and you're like, oh no, they see the bottle more closely. That's hot sauce. She has like this giant parfait, and she's just chugging bottles of hot sauce on top of it. And I'm like,
no.
What the hell? But it's just one of those weird things. But and then the character he meets afterwards, because the one character that he originally started with, the raccoon-looking dude, he mentions in the second episode there are three or four top tier players in this whole thing, at least in the country that they're in. And I think in the second episode, the main character gets PK'd, and he kind of makes a vow to kind of get revenge on who it is that did that, but he can't find out any information about who it was that did it. So he's like, well, I gotta level up. So he ends up going into an area where it's inside. It's a dungeon area, but it's inside the town, so there's no game.
Okay.
So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go in here. Not many people travel here because you have to be like a paladin to get in here, and you have to have this much money to get in here, which he is, and he does. And he ends up coming across one of the characters that was one of the most powerful ones.
Okay.
And he ends up impressing him because he was walking down the set. It's like a mausoleum area, undead area. And he was walking, he's about to go down into the second level when all of a sudden, like this chain with a nice dagger point to it comes flying out below, and he just barely ends up blocking it. And the guy comes out, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a monster because all I saw was your shadow from down below. So all I saw was this figure with a giant sword on his back." And I'm like, "I didn't know. I thought it was just a monster." So he apologizes, and then he lets him know, "Hey, you're pretty good. You were able to actually block my attack. Not many can actually do that." He goes, "You should go to this other town that's like nearby because they have a coliseum and you can do events and it's a good way to level up and everything." And he's like, "Oh, but I heard that there was like a whole bunch of like player killers around the area and they've kind of closed off the roads." So he's like, "Tell you what, in the next 24 hours, I'll make sure that the way is clear for you." And he's like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Don't worry about it. Just next 24 hours, just make your way over to the other town. It'll be fine." So he logs back in the next day, and this is, I think, episode 3, and he hears reports that all the player killers all around the city had all died. And because just like as the game goes, when you die, the penalty for death is you can't log back in for 24 hours.
Yeah, which is in that 72 hours in game time, or I misunderstood what that guy was talking about.
There is like a set jump. I don't remember what exactly it was, but like
Okay.
24 hours of real game time or real time, you can't log back in when you die. So that's why he said you have 24 hours essentially to be able to get through and get to the other side before they show up. And he's like, "Wait, so," because he's talking with the other dude because they were having tea or whatever they were eating, and he was like, "Do you think it was the other guy that did that?" And then it ended up finding this, like, I guess there's a player who's like a news reporter who covers different news that's going on in the world or whatever. And she had like holovid of the dude who had helped with originally. And it shows him like this giant armored dude was one of the player killers, was the boss of this band or whatever. And he goes and you see him just annihilate one of the just players just for fun. Because he tells him, he's like, "If you can land 1 hit point of damage on me, I'll let you go." And of course, he's freaking armored up to hell. And apparently his embryo also gives him bonuses to like his defense as well. So it's like hugely defensive capabilities.
He's a tank.
Yeah, he's just a freaking tank from hell. Like, geez. And then one of his minions like messages him or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I got another guy who's coming your way." He's like, "Oh, good, I could use some fun." He's like, "Yeah," and all of a sudden it cuts off and you just hear scream, and then his screen flashes up going, "So and so player has logged off, death." And you're like, "Wait, what?" And all of a sudden multiple screens pop up and it's just death, 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 and he's like, "What the?" And then he turns around just as like 3 chains come shooting out of the darkness because there was like 3 of his guys behind him, and all of a sudden all 3 of his guys just dead, and you're like, "Damn." So he comes walking out of the shadows, and he's like, he recognizes him. He's like, "I don't want to mess with you, dude. I seriously, I don't want to mess with you. Tell you what, you let me go, I won't mess with anybody. How about that?" And he's like, "All right." He's like, "I tell you what, we even signed a contract to make it official." He's like, "Oh, I like the sound of that. Yeah, let's do that." So he brings out a contract, signs it, and then he's like waiting for the other guy to come and approach him. And then as he does, he fires off his ultimate or whatever. It's like gravity in the area of the armored dude got like really heavy. And then he was like, he multiplies his defense. And then I guess his ultimate from his embryo is not only to multiply his defense, but then switch it to where all the defense now becomes his offense. So he's got like a one-shot kill kind of thing going on. And the dude with the chains just like, as he's about to hit, disappears. And he's like, "Did I kill him?" And then he looks, and a chain wraps around his neck and
snap,
shoots him into freaking orbit. Like literally, you're above like on the ground. You see the planet below him, and he can't even breathe. He's literally in orbit. And then he brings him down, and he was in orbit because now he's got actual like the re-entry heat coming off of him and everything.
Yeah.
And as he's coming down, the guy with the chains, you never see him use anything else before this time other than the chains, brings out a sword as big as the main characters. And you see this look on his face. I swear he's vampiric. Like his eyes almost had like that vampire look to him or whatever, where it's like the cat eyes kind of thing. And he's got it just normally the entire time when he was talking with the main character, he was completely calm, completely like, almost aristocratic kind of like upper. He wasn't like looking down on the main protagonist or whatever, but he was like more or less just like he kind of held himself in high regards, wasn't below. And now all of a sudden he has that look in his eyes and he's got a huge grin on his face, and I'm like, oh geez, you fucking snapped. You just fucking snapped. And as the guy comes down, literally with the amount of pressure he had, or from the amount of speed he had coming down, took the sword and cleaved him straight in half down the middle. And I was like, all right, well, he's gone. He's not.
Did he swing up or did he swing down?
No, he swung like from over his head over. So literally cleaved him from his head all the way down to his groin. And just gone. And I was like,
well, considering the fact that he was already falling and he could swing the sword faster than the rate of descent.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I was. That's what he was like too, and he mentioned when the guy going to the Coliseum for them to fight, and he's like, oh, you know what, you level up. I look forward to seeing you there, and maybe we'll go at it. And I'm looking at myself going, he needs to level up a lot to be able to. Holy crap, he needs to level up a lot. But yeah, and then apparently at the same time this was happening, he didn't actually defeat because the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west. He defeated the player killers in the south. The ones in the east, west, and north actually got defeated simultaneously by the other higher tier players. And one of them was like a freaking fighter, because she kind of gives a little bit showing of each one, not as much as she did the one that we actually knew, but one of them is like a fighter, and did the anime trope from oh shit, really old anime where it was he basically makes people explode by punching them.
Oh, one North.
Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, she was doing that. Like, she was surrounded by people. She'd do like a palm thrust on them, and they would like be in midair and just explode. And I'm just like, all right, well, you're badass, sure. Basically. Nani? And then the other one's like what? The other one was like a priestess, but she came out with like all of her. She has like this cult essentially following with her, and I don't know what happened, but like she turned the sky was daytime. She turned it completely night, and then all the people that were the player killers that were hiding couldn't move, like they were frozen in place. And all her followers did was come along with spears and just kill them. Like, they couldn't defend themselves. There was nothing they could do. And then apparently the highest tier, the rank number 1, nobody knows what he looks like. Nobody knows what his embryo looks like. But the holovid that they had, because it was in the forest area, apparently his embryo is a freaking battleship.
Okay.
Like, there wasn't like a clear,
it's a pirate,
like look to it, but there was almost like an outline, and it was just raining fire, like of just mass destruction all the way through the forest. And when the main character wanted to see what it looked like, he kind of paid a visit to it. Like, the whole forest had been completely leveled.
Is it in water or
no? It was it was literally just a freaking battleship on its own, just in the, I guess, and you don't know, maybe it's in air, maybe it's floating in, I don't know. It's just, they're like, it's a battleship. We don't know the specifics about it. We're just like, it's a battleship and it's scary powerful. I'm like,
When he's dressed up as a pirate when you finally meet him.
yeah, that would be funny. So like after seeing this and seeing a little bit more about what it is that they're trying to do and everything, like the first episode, I was like, okay, this seems just pretty plain Jane, and I'm not sure I'm even going to want to continue watching it. But after watching the rest of that, I'm like, okay, I see you kind of made it to where it was a setup for this. Now we're going forward with more interesting things. I'm like, okay, now this seems like this will be cool. So, yeah.
Okay. Did you watch this one, Spaz?
I did not.
Okay. Cool. I've only seen the first episode, so I'm at the average first episode spot.
Yeah.
I didn't like the main character's embryo. I don't know. She was not helpful. Like she helped, but like
she's a little full of herself.
Yeah.
But I think after that, because when he got PK'd on the second episode, like she was really beating herself up over that.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was really kind of like, I mean, completely upset and was even like berating herself about how bad she was. And I was like, okay, so she had that high personality. Now we brought her down at least a peg or two.
Okay. Cool.
So.
After hearing what you've said, I'm more intrigued to watch the show. I don't know if it'll pass my barrier of like fantasy shows. I'd have to have a character that like hooks me in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's intriguing. It's interesting.
It is. I mean, there's definitely, considering what they've been talking about, and like when they were discussing the embryos themselves, there's actually like tiers to the embryos.
Okay.
As far as you have like your, common, rare, and then like they have like the superior level embryos that you have to like, and that's what those 4 top players have are superior tier.
Yeah, and then I think that cat thing said that there was like a special one that, like an even more special one.
Yeah, something like that. So like there's definitely like lore and some actually like underlying story happening here.
Talk about a lore dump. Like that cat was like, "Hey, welcome to the world, and here is an hour of explanation." I'm like, "Okay, and let me get my pen, and then I can do this." Okay, and then there's 4 thing, and then there's a special one too. Okay, and then they're like, "You can customize your eyebrows and stuff," and he's like, "Can I just start with me?" That's basic. He's like, "Yeah, you can do that." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "Okay, da da da." And he's like, "Tweak." I'm done. It took 5 minutes.
To be completely fair, though, it's like when you get into like an RPG, especially an MMO, especially these days, that's literally the way it's like, though.
I know.
It's like you got so many customization options about what you can do before you even start the game. I mean, there was even a freaking a joke comic that was dealing with that, where they were talking about how it was. They were like, "Oh, I just got this game. This is gonna be awesome." They're like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait." And then they're like, 3 years later, and they're like, "I just completed the character creation. Woo!"
See, that's why I always go with very simple designs. Like for World of Warcraft, I pretty much always pick gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
And I do pink hair, and I'd always do the same hairstyle every time.
But I mean, it's like I appreciated that detail in it, I guess, because it's like, yes, that literally is a thing that can happen, as bad as that is.
Yes. Yeah, he wasn't surprised at all. I was like, "Yeah, this is normal. This is how things are."
Yeah.
And
like, no, this is our life. This is what we do.
And he's like, I have my whole system to get through things quicker. He's like, oh, can I use this? He's like, yeah, all right, cool. Poof, I'm done. Okay, let's move on. And he's like, experienced with all of that. One thing, oh, for me, as far as games and stuff like that goes, I wish every game I could make my little avatar. Because I'm like, I've already designed it and it's cool. When we played Gang Beasts, there was a dinosaur onesie and there was a beanie. That was like basically my character in the game. I was like, yes, that's what I want to build in every game. I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, I get how you have like a setting that you want to put as far as your characters and all the other games. But out of all the characters, who do you like the best?
I guess I would honestly say I don't even remember. Well, again, I'm horrible with names, but the first top tier that he found, I think, is a really cool character because
Okay.
he's got like the way they introduced him and the fact that he has like multiple chains just like draped on him and he's almost like manipulating the chains to do what he wants. I mean, kind of seems like a Spawn kind of thing to me, and I'm like, that's just cool. It's not like that weaponry is not something you see very often.
Except in Darwin's game.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, it sounds similar to the one that's in Darwin's game, but I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure if it's similar.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Darwin's game, so. But yeah, no, I mean, it seemed, it's interesting. I will say it's very interesting. So I'm
okay.
I want to see where it goes, and I want to see what more they can do with it. So we'll see how it pans out.
Okay. Out of all the characters that I've seen, I'm not sure. Like the main character's brother, I'm not sure if I like him yet. He's all over the place. Whether he's like cool and experienced and like is powerful, or silly and obnoxious. He like bounces all over the place, and so I'm like, he's the candidate for my favorite, but I'm not sure.
So far, honestly, besides that first part, you really haven't seen him that much at all.
Okay. Well,
so.
Okay. Will you continue the show this season?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. I see no reason not to. It's a cool show. I really enjoy it. So.
This goes in the vault for me. It's like even not seeing the other 5 shows that I missed, I want to watch those more than I want to continue this one. And this goes in the vault, and I will get back to it one day. And other than the few crazy moments that you pointed out, were there any other like standout moments?
Not so far. I mean, again, It's only 3 episodes into it, so it's still kind of fresh and new. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, yeah, that's it. From the description that you gave for that one attack to take out that huge ultra tank, that sounds like a really cool moment. So that's basically the one thing. One of the couple things that are keeping me keep it in the vault instead of just at the bottom of the list. So whenever I get back to this show, I look forward to seeing that. But yeah, that is it for that one. The next show we're going to be talking about is Chewbacca's show named Hanako-chan, or Toilet Bound Hanako-chan.
Oh yeah, that one.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just missed that one. I have no idea why.
I tried reading it. Nope.
So I check out most shows, unless I know 100% it's not my genre. And this show, I didn't know what it was, and I got a request so that I should check it out because they're like, no, for real, it's good. So I went ahead and checked it out.
And you're stalling for time there, Big D. What's going on?
Literally, the first episode, the girl gets cursed by a toilet spirit. That's not even a girl.
Yes. So,
what?
Yeah. So the spirit is the guy with the hat and the suit. And I don't know why a guy spirit is attached to a girl's toilet, but
I can only imagine.
So basically, he is one of those rumors that goes on in high school anime where they're like, oh, if you go to the old building and go to the third floor and knock on the third stall, and then you say this incantation, and then apparently this apparition will appear, and you can grant whatever wish or whatever. And it happens to be true. It's that guy.
Except it's not a wish, it's a curse.
Yeah. And he is not good at he doesn't have power.
He's not very good at doing his job. Granting wishes.
So shows like from the little bit that I've seen and I can remember of like Hell Girl, like you do the same thing, you summon this special person and then you ask them for a wish and they're like, your wish has been granted, and you get the word.
Suddenly turn into Shenron.
Yeah, it's like you get, you get the said, whether they're in the form of what you said or not, and then you get cursed. You have to pay some type of price. Same thing applies here. It's just he goes about it in a long, roundabout way, and it's this long, drawn-out, disappointing wish. But there's a few parts that made me laugh. So that's why this show goes in the vault. I'm not finishing it this season, but so she wants someone to fall in love with her, and right off the bat, he's like, "Oh, so anybody will do," and she's like, "No, it has to be him." And they basically go through like 15 different attempts on her going about this confession and getting him to fall for her. So instead of him just casting a spell and he's just in love with her, he's like, "How about you bring him a present or something like that?" And she's like, "Well, what kind of present want you get?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm in
here.
the
Have this gift. Give it to him."
I don't remember that one, but I know that she's in the gardening club, and she's like, "I grew these things off screen," and, and he's like, "Okay, give him those." So then he walks, the guy that she has a crush on, walks to his desk, and there's like vegetables on his desk and like a note saying like, "I like you" or whatever. And he's like, "What is this?" And like his friends are like, "Did you save a fox spirit or something?" I was like, "Oh yeah, fox spirits like give like you what is it that you give an offering to the fox spirits so you can have a good harvest." So I was like, "Oh, that's what they're talking about." And then like that doesn't go through, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh great, now he thinks I'm a fox spirit." And there's like a few other attempts. I can't remember the details for those, but they're basically just really weird roundabout ways of her like slowly realizing that she thinks that she's in love with this person, but she's not. And there's one actual mystical powerful thing that he does have, and before he can explain what happens if you use it, it's like she's basically desperate because she's gone up like 3 or 4 different attempts and it's not working. And he's like, well, I do have this magical scale. And then she's like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, no, don't eat it because you have to eat it. And then the other person, she's like, oh. And he's like, and then y'all both will be cursed. And she ends up turning into a fish and getting attacked by this giant, crazy mermaid. And it's like, he's like, you didn't let me finish. But he's drawing out the explanation and basically like annoying her by going all these roundabout ways that she gets desperate and ends up in this situation. But he did that because he wanted a companion too. So now he does the other side of the contract, and now they're linked together. So it's the first 5 minutes have to do with the toilet, but then the rest of it is like the first episode is this weird roundabout like anime about like the whole situation about like asking a genie for power and getting like not what you intend in return. It's interesting. I don't know how the third guy gets there and from the picture, and I don't know like how much time they're gonna spend in the toilet because he's linked to it somehow. And I don't know if any other characters are gonna show. I have no idea where the rest of this story is going. It's unique from the category that I put it in. So
I would say it's toilet humor.
A lot of potty jokes.
So yeah. So did you read this one or have you watched the first episode? Or?
I gave it 3 chapters.
Okay.
That's not much considering I've read some that are close to 400. Actually, I think the biggest one I've read was 700 chapters.
Okay.
And that was Naruto.
Yeah.
I tried reading Boruto. It's awful.
So, yeah, so I've only seen the first episode. Do I like the story so far? It's a different twist on a genre that I don't spend a lot of time in because that like summon someone and get cursed. Like I'm a big chicken and I don't really like super dark, serious dark stuff like that. And
it still seems lighthearted.
Yeah, this one is lighthearted, which is why I prefer it out of all the shows in that genre. But I don't know about. It's like, oh, I was delightfully surprised by how this first episode played out. A lot of stuff happened, and I'm like, okay, cool. Do I like the character so far? It took too long for the girl to like realize everything. I do like Hanako-kun because he's bad at his job, or he's intentional.
I would say he's pretty shitty at it.
So, yeah, and I don't know if it's intentional because he does have stuff that has magical powers that he could just give right off the bat. So, I don't know. And he schemes because he just basically wore her down and like linked them through that curse. And he's like, cool, now I have somebody to keep me company. So, out of the two, I like him better because I'm curious what he's up to. Will I continue the show this season? Nah.
just nah.
Nah. It's intriguing enough for me to put it in the vault, but for this season, nah. Are there any standout moments? The fox spirit. Oh, and another one. So when she first started asking him for help, he has a book of books of how to get a guy to like kind of that type of book, and she's disappointed. She's like, "Don't you have any kind of like magical things or something like that?" And it's like goes through his stuff and like he's like, "Oh, how about this?" And he pulls out a Kokeshi doll, And she's like, "That's a Kokeshi doll." And he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of sexy, right?" And she takes it, she snatches it in her hand, and throws it out the window.
Oh, wow.
Like,
I don't think she cared much for that.
so I don't know. It's like just moments like that just catch me off guard. I was like, "Oh, okay."
We're gonna be like that.
Yeah. Oh my, this is gonna be an interesting dynamic between these two characters. So yeah. So that is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Kyoko Syuri, or
Inspector.
yes, Inspector. I was like, there's a much easier way to easier word to say. I
was surprised Psycho didn't watch that one.
I started to watch it,
okay.
and I just didn't. I don't know. I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time, or just didn't really care much. I think I got like 10 minutes into the first episode and was just like, I'm gonna pass on this for right now.
Okay.
Not to say that it was bad. It just didn't really get my attention. Okay. Yeah.
I would say it's a bit of a mix between like Natsume's Book of Friends with a tiny bit of like one of those detective shows mixed with
maybe it's just
that has a unusual power and everybody. Well, I don't know. It's like different sides of Natsume.
Maybe it's just trying for too much that it just
character
feels
that has uber plot armor, literally.
Is that what's going on there?
The one character, yeah, he has uber plot armor.
How so?
He can't die.
Interesting. Like, just as in, like, he's invulnerable, or he just keeps coming back, or...
So, very first episode, he literally gets his arm nommed on by a demon, essentially. And then it just regrows.
Oh.
And then the demon's like, "Oh God, you're poisonous," and disintegrates.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, no, he has ultimate plot armor. Okay.
And
you're absolutely right.
Hasn't gone into it yet. A little bit of a spoiler. I'm just saying how strong his. It's just saying how strong his plot armor is. His head gets knocked off.
Okay.
And it regrows.
Okay. Because yeah, usually monsters are like, aim for the head or something like that, and then they die.
Come on.
Blot out the sun.
Y'all need to figure this out.
Okay.
No. Do not fall off, because I know if you do that, you'll claw the shit out of me.
Oh, so you have your one you're dealing with too. Gotcha.
Our fat cat. 16 pounds. And he's still purring.
So did you watch this one, or read it and watch, or?
Yes. Well, I tried reading it, but
No.
It was one of the ones that was really difficult to read for some reason on my app.
Okay.
Because it would try to skip around through the chapters and stuff like that. I'm just like, no. But no, I was watching it. So I'm not too much further ahead.
Okay. So did you watch? Are you current, or did you like? How much did you watch?
I'm current on it.
Okay. So I've only watched the first episode.
Thank you.
So
that should be predictable by now.
Yes. Yeah, but that's basically my initial thoughts. I watched the first episode and we're like, yeah. So so do you like the story so far? Like, where do you think it's headed?
It's definitely interesting. If you're into detective type things. Because that's kind of more, it's not too actiony. She's more or less a pretty much a PI for the monster community, in a sense.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a negotiator too, in some parts. So I like this story. I don't know where it could go because I don't have a lot of experience with shows that are like this type. I do like detective shows. There are like, what was it? There's one that's called The Daughter of 20 Faces. That was like a heist adventure type of show. There, what else again? I can't. I feel like I've seen a lot of detective shows when I was younger, like Inspector Gadget or something like that, where it's like there's this mystery that needs to be found out, and the journey that you take to get there is always something that if the show has it, I tend to gravitate towards. Ghost Hound. There we go. That was one of those really dry series that had this mystery that slowly unraveled. Also, Fantastic Children is like another slow-paced, kind of dry series that has a few fantastical elements. So this fits right in like some shows that I really like, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen with this one. Do I like the character so far? I really like the girl because she's not too bubbly cutesy, and then she's not mean like
typical gothic Lolita stuff.
Yeah, like the tsundere. She's not as well. I don't know. She may have aspects of that. She's not over the top mean for no reason. Like she's like blunt and serious, which I like that type of character. And she has this backstory that's like slowly gets revealed, and yeah, she's basically
actually for the most part her story's told.
Yeah. So
it's his story that hasn't been told yet.
Yeah, and I like how she takes the role between like she's the art, like what is it? She's like the bridge between the human world and the demon world, and I like how she doesn't get like a big head about it. She's not like, oh, well, I am all powerful because I can talk to monsters. Like she just, what do you need? Okay, what do you need? Okay, cool. Okay, this is what y'all should do. Like just negotiate. Like I like that. So out of this so far, she's my favorite character. The main guy, he's so bland and so overpowered, and I'm just like, what else is like? What else are you gonna do? So yeah, it's
maybe that's why his story isn't told, because he has no story.
Oh, he does.
So
it's actually kind of a cool story. I actually like his story a lot more than hers.
So out of all the characters that we've seen, it's probably like what, 3? Him, her, and his girlfriend. Who do you like the best?
Girlfriend becomes a badass.
Oh, okay, interesting.
You're actually one episode from, I think, her getting actually introduced.
Okay.
So.
As a badass?
Kind of, yeah. Because of the job she took.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's some really cool stuff to look forward to. Look forward to seeing her again. I thought she was kind of, I don't know. They were on her like as a character. Like usually you can tell when they're gonna like kill off a character because all of a sudden the episode's all about them. And like she took a big part of this first episode, and then then she moved away, and so now she's gone. And I'm like, that was a lot of time to spend with her for us to not see her again. So I do like that she's gonna be back. Are you gonna continue it this season?
Personally, yeah.
Yes, me too. 100%. This high on the list.
Sounds like I need to revisit this.
Yep.
Well, it is a lot slower than most of the other animes I like to watch.
Mhm.
So there is that.
Yeah. Oh, also another thing that I do like is the conversations that these characters have. Like this is the caliber of conversations that these characters have are like Bunny Girl. Like she's that good of a female character and they have that good of conversations. So I'm like super intrigued. I love shows that have like really thoughtful characters with real in-depth conversations. So
there's going to be plenty more of that.
Yeah, I'm very, very hooked on this show so far. So it's like,
did you just watch the first episode, or are you current on it?
I just watched the first episode. I watched it like yesterday.
Continue watching on it because it does get better.
Oh yeah, this is probably one of my highest rated ones of the season so far. Are there any standout moments? I would say from the first episode is biting off the arm, and then him being like, "Oh yeah, this is my situation," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm hooked."
I did, as I said, the head regeneration that's going to be coming up soon is something that's really cool, especially with all the characters that are involved in that.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. I will not say which characters are there, but just
Good. But yeah, that's all I have for this one. The next show we're going to be talking about is Magia Record, Madoka Shoujo Magica. Whoa. It's another Madoka Magica show.
Yep.
Nope.
So
I don't do magical girls.
Yeah, so I feel like I had gone about this the last time when I found out that it was going to be a thing. Basically, Madoka Magica is one of those series that's a deconstruction of the genre, like how Evangelion is a deconstruction of mech shows and stuff like that. There's probably other shows that deconstruct other genres, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. Basically, the whole situation is you have a wish. This season is all about making that wish. You get in a contract with something and you make a wish. And there's a lot of shows that are doing that. But for this show, it's you come along this cat creature called a QB, and you tell him your wish. And in order for your wish to come true, you have to basically enlist as a magical girl and fight witches. There is a lot of dark story elements and a lot of things hidden behind the scenes that happen to magical girls after fighting witches for a certain amount of time. And it is a very good story. There is a series before this. There's 3 movies, and this is a side story. And one of the characters from the previous story is in this one. I feel completely left out because I don't remember her having the powers that she had in this first episode. I don't remember those powers. So for this show, I feel like I need to go back and watch the first series and then watch the movies. And then when I get to this one, I'll be like, oh yeah, she got that power when she did the one thing. But it's been so long since I've seen Madoka Magica that I don't know. So, how many episodes have I watched? 1, as usual. Do I like the story so far? I don't know. There's I thought everything was happening in this one city, but then no, it's happening in every city. And for some reason, they're all trying to send people from other cities to converge in the main city where the first season took place. And she basically kicked everybody out. She's like, no, don't tell everybody not to come here. And for some reason, everybody's having the same dream and they're still going there. So it's going to be this weird, huge, crazy situation. And don't know who's behind it. Don't know what's happening. But very intrigued. I don't know if I don't know. Do I like the characters so far? I don't think my favorite character is there. I think she might have died. Because this series doesn't pull any punches at all. So,
They're cute little girls. Now watch them fight to the death.
yeah. So, there's a very, very high chance that my favorite character had died through like some very tragic and very sad turn of events. And
In a movie that you didn't watch.
yeah, either in the movie or in the series, and like I don't remember this. There's so much. There was so many twists and turns in the show. Will I continue watching this season? This is very, very tough. Probably not, because I need to start back over.
Oh God.
Yeah.
With your backlog and you think no.
There's so much I don't remember. And I don't know where the other, like, I think there's 3 main girls in the thing, and I don't remember if they're alive. Or I don't know. I know somebody important, like, went down really badly, and I don't remember who it was. So I need to catch back up because I want to go back through the situation instead of like, oh yeah, she died, and I'll be like, what? How? Somebody tell me.
A suggestion is look it up on the wiki if you don't want to.
I gotta experience the whole thing again.
He says that, and then he never does.
And the backlog grows.
Exactly. See, Spaz, you get it.
But I did. That's recorded proof. Dragon Ball Z. I spent 3 months watching all 291 episodes, and then
most of it was Goku screaming.
Yeah, and then how much did you miss out on because you were watching all those 290 episodes?
Yeah, and then I started Super and like watched like 1 episode and didn't finish the rest, so I did all that for nothing. And then for Do Ra Ra Ra, I watched all 26 episodes, and then I watched the whole first core, and then I got confused on the second core, and I didn't finish the third core. So the same thing's gonna happen. I'm gonna watch all of the old series and then not touch this new one. But I'm gonna remember the show that I liked back in the past.
And then
Are there any standout moments?
His favorite character is possibly dead.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't show a flashback. Be like, oh yeah, remember her, how she died, how I'm so sad? And I'll be like, no.
Dude, it'd be even worse if they gave you a flashback to a part that wasn't even aired anywhere else, and it's just like, yeah, she did.
That would suck. They're like, oh yeah, she moved away to go to another city because of some mission, and then they just show a flashback of her dying. Terrible. Man, okay, so I remember how weird, because this show is done by what is it? Is it done by Shaft? It's like the Shaft style of animation. Yes, this show's done by Staff. This show's done by Shaft. So their animation.
Magical Girls were done by Shaft. Did no one ever make that connection before?
No, actually, I didn't even think about that. I'll be completely honest.
So
I won't apologize for that either. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is true.
So this show is animated by Shaft, and with this studio's animation, they have a very, very unique style. I feel like they're one of the studios that does stuff out of order, does things backwards, and does things in a way that it's not a normal 1, 2, 3 process. They have a very unique style, and whenever if you hear the shows that they've done, you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely a piece of work from that studio. So when I watched the fight scene that happened in the show, it was like I felt the same way that I felt when I watched the fights, one of the first fight scenes from the main character in the first series, where it's like the world is kind of off, things are a little bit weird, something's up, and then a fight starts, and you're like, what is this arts and crafts looking animation? Where there's like cotton and stuff on the screen, and things are like rotating, like it's put together by pins and stuff like that. Everything's like really creepy and puppet looking. It's just off, like weirdly off. And watching this show, I was like, oh, like I can, from what I barely remember from the first series, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is like their current, like it's a bit smoother, it's a bit more polished, kind of like how watching Railgun, like the first series, and then watching Railgun now, you're like, oh, they've like perfected their technique. And then it got to the fight scene. And I'm like, oh God, oh yeah, this weird abstract style. It's like a Picasso painting fighting another Picasso painting. It's like, what is happening? Why is there cotton here? It's weird. So not much has changed as far as like the way this show flows. And yeah, it's just as soon as that fight scene showed up, I'm like, oh yeah, Monica Magica. Weird, strange, abstract fights. And yeah, I need to go back and get caught back up because I want to finish this. I don't think I'll finish it this season. But yeah, that is for that one. The next show we're going to be talking about is Sorcerer, Stabber, Orphan, or Majutsuji.
Just Orphan.
Orphan.
Yeah.
Just call it Orphan.
Orphan. Just call it Orphan. Just call it Orphan.
I'm so mad that I forgot about this one. What happened?
So, this one, yeah. It looks great.
How's
Stop by saying that. Studio Dean, it looks great. I mean, especially if you were to compare between
how it used to look,
the previous, the original to this one, the styling and everything, it looks phenomenal. The spells that they create, what they do, looks great. I mean, everything just pops. It's wonderful. Storyline wise,
is it like what you call it?
So this is, as they said, is a remake of the original 1998-1999 anime.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking like what? How long ago was that?
20 years.
20 years, roughly? Yeah. So
it's old enough to drink.
Yeah, well, not quite. Anyways,
99. Yeah, it would be.
Originally, the storyline, if I remember correctly from the original one.
Well, that happened.
Yeah, I was afraid that was going to happen. Well, you guys are in the way.
Did they pull a Full Metal Panic?
So, really? You guys?
Yeah.
Can't even see anything anymore.
We can see your beard.
Yeah, I see that. Let me correct that. Oh, you're like, fine. I'm just going to leave now.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
And random cat butt.
Hey, it wouldn't be me without random cat butt. Come on now.
Fair enough.
Okay. A little higher there. I think that's going to be good enough.
Okay, yeah. I'm modified by you.
Okay. So the original story took place. You met most of the characters right off from the get-go.
Okay.
They were on a
There
boat, weren't they?
was no. There was Orphan. There was his quote-unquote apprentice, who really wasn't necessarily his apprentice by like anything official. He was just sort of like someone who
Followed them around.
followed him around, wanted to learn magic from him and everything. Didn't think he was going to be good enough to actually go to a school, so decided, hey, I'm going to, just learn what I can from you.
Okay.
And originally, his personality was Orphan's personality was a bit crass. He's kind of a loner, kind of a do what I want, whatever, doesn't matter to me kind of thing, and kind of a little bit pervy, I guess, in a way. Because what he's like, I think the very beginning has him looking through the window of I want to say it's the blonde-haired girl in the background, because she was in a mansion or whatever, and something that she had was what he was looking for. But when he looked in through the window, she was undressing, and he didn't really look away. He just kind of was like, "Oh, this is happening now."
I mean, would you in that situation?
So he what I liked about the original one is they didn't like knock you over the head with like what was going on. You got up to speed with the world and everything, and how everything was functioning. You want back now? How everything was functioning through how the story proceeded itself, which I enjoyed. Because it's not like what you were saying before about the Infinite one, how it was kind of like a data dump right from the get-go, and we're like, oh
Yeah.
we're just gonna throw everything at you at once, and you're just gonna have to then we'll actually get to the good stuff, because that's how I think bogged down the first episode of that, right? Here in the remake of this one, like, you knew in the very beginning of there was a lot of story that happened in the past when you watched the original series. There's a lot of backstory. We don't know what's happening. We don't know why he's obsessed with this dragon. There's something going on. We get little snippets here and there, but mainly we're following along his journey. In this one, they're like, nope, we're going to go right to the past, and we're going to show you everything that's happening, and we're going to keep going until we get up to a certain point where he no longer is part of this wizarding school.
Okay. So they kind of do like a red Brotherhood? Where they like told the previous part in like a really short amount of episodes and then moved on? Or
no, they're still showing it.
Okay.
And that's where I think it's bogging it down. I'm like, I get it. I understand what was happening. And within the first episode, if they had just been like, okay, this is the first episode, this is kind of what happened. She did this. This is the reasons why. And now he's trying to help her get her back to her normal human form. Okay, cool. Now we can continue on. But they're like, no, we're going to go more into the details of the story. You're going to see more about who she was, what she did, this, that, and the other thing, what their relationship was like. Yeah, I'm like, come on. We don't need this information. We don't need this information. If there's other important information that's going along with this, I get that. Tell us as we go. But let's actually get to where we're supposed to be going. You know what I mean?
Do you think that benefits like newer viewers, or is it like...
No, because that's not how the original one was.
Okay.
The original one threw you into it, gave you very little, but it was like as the story progressed, we learned more and more about it. And we're like, okay. Now, if they wanted to bring people in and give them at least more of a background in this, I get that, which is why I gave the first episode, I was like, okay, we're just throwing out all the storyline moments here and everything. We're letting you know what's going on. Cool, whatever. Let's move on. But then they're like, second episode, now we're going into their training, what they were doing, how powerful they are, and why they were doing this. And I'm like, we don't need to know that. That's not the point of what we're trying to do here. The point of what we're trying to do here is that she did a spell on a sword that was forbidden. She knew she wasn't supposed to do it. And in turn, she ended up turning into a dragon. And now what he's trying to do is get her back to her original body. But of course, she's a dragon. She's on a rampage. Her mind's not really there. Even though her, like, soul, I guess you could say, is there. It's like she's kind of trapped inside the body of the dragon. So he's trying to basically protect her as well as get her back to her original form. Because, like, the very beginning, when she broke out of where she had been doing the spell as a dragon, all the wizards tried to, like, cast spells to bring her down, and he defended her.
Okay.
You know, which you could basically reference then as, well, that's the reason why he ended up getting kicked out of the school, because there was a dragon. You're not supposed to, you know. Anyways, you know, that was the first episode, and I'm like, that would have been fine. I'd have been completely fine with that. But then we're like, episode 2. Now we're going further back in time to where she was training and he was training with their master, and I'm like, come on. Let's catch back up and let's go to the present time frame now. If there is other details that you want to explain along the way, maybe have them come up in story elements, maybe have them come up in dialogue or whatever. But why are we continually going back? This is not how the original story was. And I guess maybe that's why this is a remake, but again, it just feels like it's like
they're Benjamin Buttoning us.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, let me actually get to where the, you know, because it's not as interesting to me just getting all the backstory at once. You know, so, you know, as much as I enjoy getting some backstory, what they did in the first episode was enough to let you know. Okay. It's like, this is what she did. This is what happened. This is what he did. All right, now we're back into the present time. Because at one point, I think they did skip to the present time, and then they went back to the back time.
Shit. Why are you waiting? Okay.
So I'm like, you're jumping all over the place. Come on, let's focus in. Let's get what we need to do. Let's do what we gotta do, and let's move on. So I don't know. It's not, like I said, it's not bad. It's just not as good as I remember it being.
Nostalgia vision.
I guess. I mean, it might be clouding my judgment. So if anyone else has watched it, then, you know, I'd be more than willing to see what your take on it is. But for me, I was just like, I want more. Like, I want to jump into this. I know where we're going. I know where the flow is. I know what's happening. Let's get to it. Let's not just keep logging us down with all this background information right from the get-go. So
okay,
truly bastard of a cat.
But
so you're current on that show.
I think I'm like one episode behind.
Okay. So besides the backstory that they're going back to, is it additional backstory, or are they like moving it from the original series? They'll spread out and they're just putting it all at the front, like front loading it.
Kind of seems that way.
Okay. As far as the story goes, do you think they're gonna do like a Brotherhood where they're like finish what has been done before, but then expand it?
No, it seems like it's just going to be a direct, basically, remake of the original.
Okay.
I mean, it's been 20 years, so I mean, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people, even like myself, who even have watched it, don't quite remember everything that was involved with it, but you know, would only remember like bits and pieces here and there. I mean, this caught my attention just because I think this is one of the first animes that I watched where a dragon, even though a dragon was prevalent and was still kind of terrorizing people, it was actually someone was trying to, quote unquote, save them. And it wasn't until later on in the story that I realized, oh, he's trying to save this dragon because it's a woman that he knew back in his childhood and he wants to save her.
And you like the reveal, finding out that later instead of front loading everything?
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it kind of gets rid of some of the
suspense and the mystery.
Yeah, because you watched it to find out more. You wanted to know more. You wanted to know what was happening. You wanted to know what his reasonings were behind all this. Now it's like, well, we know his reasonings behind this. Now it's just a matter of, can he do it? And it's like, well, I know in the original series, yeah, he did. So it's like, I mean, you know, it's like, unless they plan on changing that, then it's like
He kills the dragon this time.
where does the drama come into play? Where does the what, as far as what happens, like what, where's the conflict? Where's the suspense? Where's, we don't have that, because it's like you're already giving us all the detailed information as far as who these characters are, what their reasonings are, why they're doing what they're doing, and what it is that they're doing. So it's like, now we're just waiting for the conclusion. It's like,
Yeah.
No, that's not how you should do these things.
Yeah.
Conclusion's going to be in the next episode.
I feel like it. I feel like it. I mean, how many episodes did they even give this one? I know the original one was a lengthy one, but I think it had at least some filler in it. Let's see.
13?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that might be why then. That might be why. Yeah, 13 episodes. That might be why they're doing what it is that they're doing. Because, yeah, the original one was 24 episodes.
Okay.
So...
My shadow won't leave me alone.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Who's your favorite character?
I mean, the main character, I guess, for as far as all the other characters go. I don't necessarily like... I mean, they've only introduced the girl, or the one who turned into a dragon. Orphan is the main character, and then his apprentice, Magic, I think his name is? Yeah.
I always thought that was a stupid name.
That's such a stupid name, yeah.
There's so many names recently that I'm seeing in anime where they're just nouns. And I'm like...
But Magic for a magician? Really?
Yeah.
They weren't even trying.
No, yeah, literally all they did was change the G to a J. But it's still pronounced the same way, so it's like...
They didn't even change the C to a K? That would have been kind of cool.
Nope, it's Majic. Oh.
Yeah, but it's just, no.
So...
At least Orphan was a good name.
Yeah, no, Orphan's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that name.
Frickin' Magic.
Okay.
You're a magician. What's your name? Magic. No, that's what you use. What's your name?
So yeah, we got a who's on first situation going on here. Ooh, no, your name. Ooh.
Who's the tank? What's the mage?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, somebody actually made a World of Warcraft parody for that.
Oh, good lord.
It's actually pretty entertaining.
Okay.
Well, so was the original. But yeah, anyways, I mean, that's, and honestly, even moments, I can't even really say what I would say at the moment, because all we've gotten is backstory so far.
So there's no standout moment.
No, it's like she turned into a dragon. That was the biggest standout moment that we had. So.
And that's comparing the two seasons. It's like, did that happen at the beginning or that towards the end of the other season?
That was like mid-range, where you even
so they're kind of
about that.
Like spoiling it.
Basically. So.
Will you continue this show?
That's a tough one.
Begrudgingly, probably. I'm guessing.
If I do, it will be begrudgingly. I will totally admit that if I do. But I'm not even 100% sure I really want to continue it,
Are you having fun kneading on me, Cat?
So.
Okay. Oh yeah. Have you seen this one, Spaz?
The original.
Okay.
Long
did you like?
time ago.
Okay. From the opinions of the new one, do you think you would watch the new one?
I would watch it just to see the new art style, see how the stories differ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, it looks good. I would like to see someone who's who hasn't watched the original see what their opinion of it is, just because I might be biased having watched the original from previously.
Okay.
But
And as I said before, I played the video game of it.
mhm.
Okay.
That was weird.
Cool. All right, well, that's it. That's all we have for this one. The next show we're going to be talking about is Murenase Seton Gakuen, or Seton Academy Join the Pack.
Yeah, this one wasn't definitely mine.
This would have been one of the ones on my list, but there were so many.
You forgot about it?
I passed it up because I was like, there's so many shows I'm gonna try to get to, so I want to get to like the top and the mid-range ones, and then if I have time, I'll come back. And I missed like 5 top range ones, and these were like after that. So if I had like a whole nother day, then I would have watched everything.
Yeah.
Wait, this was your Spez?
Yeah.
Ah. I thought this would have been tacos on this one. So all right, well.
So believe it or not, this was not on my list or anything for when we were talking about it last time. I literally saw this as a manga and I decided to start reading it. And then when I was looking through the new stuff, I was just like, oh, I was reading that. Click, click.
So you didn't watch the show? You've only seen the manga?
No, I've watched it. I'm current on it.
Oh, so you already read it and then you saw that it was current. Okay, cool.
And then it was coming out, and then I started watching it.
Okay, cool. So how many episodes have you watched?
I think I'm on episode 3 right now.
Okay.
I just started watching episode 3 today.
Okay. Do you like the story so far?
It's comedic. It's kind of slapstick comedy.
Okay. Let's see. I don't think we talked about this one in the.
No, I don't think we did.
So let's go ahead and get the synopsis going. There we go. Seton Academy, a school full of animals where, thanks to population decline, there are fewer humans than any other creature. Mazama Jean, an animal hater and the only human male in the class, falls in love with Hino Hitomi, the only female human, the moment he lays eyes on her. However, he soon finds himself entangled with various other creatures after he reluctantly joins the pack of Lanka, the wolf, and the only other member of her pack.
Pretty much, she forces him to be the only member of her pack because no one else has joined it. It's kind of how that's how it words out.
So she's like, I want to be in a pack and nobody else will be in my pack, so you're gonna be in my pack.
Kind of. So he was trying to just kind of shy away from all the animals. So he's like, oh, there's an empty lunch table. He and didn't realize that she was there because she's so short. And then he's going through tips on how to avoid angering wolves. And he ends up pulling the bone out of his he ends up giving her part of his meat for the meal. It's like, and then she jumps up on the table. You're joining my pack. And then he ends up distracting her by throwing the bone.
Okay, this sounds like it's gonna be pretty fun.
So as I said, this is definitely a slice of life, but it has more comedy than slice of life, which is why it's manageable for me.
Okay. Cool. Do you like the characters so far? Who's your favorite?
All the characters lend themselves to each other. I don't really have a favorite.
Okay.
I think if any one of the characters were missing, it would not hold itself as well.
Okay. Cool.
And
Yeah,
the
I've seen-
characters that they add into it, they don't feel forced.
Okay. Yeah. I've had a few different shows where like all the characters kind of play their part as in the group, and if anybody was missing, it would feel kind of lackluster, like Lucky Star or Recreators or something like that, where it's like really good characters. So, will you continue this show this season?
Yes.
Cool. And are there any standout moments?
Very first episode. While he's right next to the girl that he likes, the wolf kisses him.
Interesting. All right.
That's because it's actually pack nature.
Mm-hmm.
To welcome somebody to the pack, wolves will lick them on the snout. Which with
She just took it a little too far then, huh?
Well, with animalized humans, it's pretty much the same as kissing. So.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it actually mentions those types of things while it's happening.
Also, it's like one of those that actually like describes it as things are going on.
It'll actually explain the behavior of the animals.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of cool.
They did that for that monster one too, didn't they?
Rosario to a Vampire?
No.
Well, they did do it in that one as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about the one that just happened like what last year, was it there, Big D?
Monster Musume?
No, I think it was that one. I think it was the one where he was interview the interview of
Interview with the Vampire. Wait,
or
no,
with
that's
Monster
interview with yeah.
Monster Girls, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. A little bit of slice of life, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of education.
A lot of comedy.
Okay. Cool. I will have to check that one out then. I saw the picture and I skipped over it, so I'm gonna go back.
It is a bit haremish, just to say.
From the picture, I can see it.
Yeah, I was saying the picture kind of leads itself to that.
Yeah. Are there any interesting animal characters that they have in there? Okay.
All of them, essentially.
Okay.
Just on that main picture, there's the wolf that's up in front.
Mm-hmm.
Right behind her to the right is a koala. Behind that is a sloth, a cat, a lion, the main character. Then there's the panda, and then the other human.
Okay.
Yes.
So koala and sloth are some very interesting animals to have.
Especially when the sloth is into extreme sports. And she's almost dying constantly.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta watch this show.
And the koala is you'll see about the koala.
Cool. Sounds like this is gonna be quite the show. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Plunderer.
Ah, yes.
I've read that one.
Did you watch it too, or just read it?
It's on Funimation.
Oh, that's right. That's true. I think that was the main reason I even got Funimation, really.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Did you get to Pudding Chan?
No. Wait. I got to the one where he was trying to date some girl or whatever.
So, was he dressed up in the comedy mask yet?
It was a clown mask, I think.
It's either cupcake or pudding. I don't remember.
Oh yeah. He was selling pudding.
Yeah. While he was dressed up in a pudding outfit.
Yeah. Nope, I remember that one. Yep.
This makes no sense from this picture.
Yeah. No. I really wish that what you see in the picture was more of what we got, because that's not the case. That's not the case at all.
So it's about to live up to that picture here real soon.
Okay, because I'm kind of getting like annoyed with his personality as far as that goes. Because I'm like, dude, I know you're. Okay, so the basic story premise is like the girl in the picture, the one in pink, or if I don't remember if you're, yeah, the one in pink there. She got a ballot from her mother that's supposed to give somebody like what 10,000 points or something like that, some crazy ass number. Because everyone in this world has a number. You have
a number. That show.
Yeah. You have a number based upon.
Dang it! I wanted to watch it.
You have a number based upon everything that you do.
Or not everything that you do, but certain aspects.
Certain aspects of what you do. Like someone has a number for saying how many times her food is good. The other one, like the girl in pink, has a number for how many miles that she's traveled.
She's walked.
Yeah.
So
and
it doesn't count.
Huh?
If she's in a car, then it doesn't count.
Yeah, it has to be her walking those. So
a person has a number for every good deed they do.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting in regards to that. She has a ballot because she's supposed to give it to what they call an ace, which is somebody who has like a great deal of like power, has high numbers. They were ones who had fought in a war like 300 years ago
and are somehow still alive.
That they have not claimed that for. Yeah, there's no explanation for that whatsoever, but other than the fact that that is the case. But and she ends up falling a ride with some military who basically think that, you know, they deserve it or whatever, because it's whoever has a higher number has authority over those who have lower numbers.
Okay.
So kind of the basic thing, the main person gets told to put his head in the ground, and he literally jumps up into the air and pile drives headfirst into the ground because that's what he was told to do.
Mm.
Out of his control, or he's like,
because he has a really, really low number.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. He can't control that.
No, yeah. Whoever has a higher number, that's what you have to obey whatever it is that they say.
Okay, so if you is it one of those things where it's like he just goes into a trance and does it, or does he like, okay, fine, and then he does it himself?
Basically, it's okay, fine. He just does it, kind of thing.
Okay.
Because if you try to disobey it, it causes you a great deal of pain, and you end up doing it anyways.
Mm-hmm. But so the very first time that she finds him, he's wearing a mask.
Really, really cool looking mask.
And he basically is trying to go up to girls and ask them to marry him. And I'm like, all right. And of course he gets rejected. And he hasn't, like, whenever you reach 0, these weird shadow hands come out of nowhere and are supposed to suck you basically into oblivion.
It's an abyss.
Yeah. So you really don't want your number to reach 0 ever.
Okay.
But his number is negative 999 when you first meet him.
And everybody's just like, that should not be possible.
Yeah, they're like, wait, you can't have a negative number. How do you have a negative number? But the reason being is because he's a holder or something they call it.
He has an item on him that can hold a number.
Yeah. And so his actually number is actually way higher than that. But his when he's not wearing the mask, I like his character.
So
Really cool character.
Holding a number, like, let's say in the game you get an achievement and you have a stat point that you can use. So it's just holding that stat point instead of actually applying it.
No, essentially
it's actually
the weapons themselves can have a different number than the actual wielder. So his number is how many times he's been rejected, which for some reason is negative. But his sword has a different rule applied to it to increase the number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the difference between the number is actually way higher. So that's why he's not like being sucked into oblivion kind of thing.
And those creepy hands are called abyssal hands.
Well, I could see why, but so yeah, his character when he's like the way you see him in the picture is freaking badass.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he's badass and awesome. Like he goes against the military that was there and basically tells them, you know, he's walking and literally just from his walking is slamming this one officer against the wall repeatedly just from the echoing of his footsteps. The pressure of the air as he's walking is literally slamming this officer against the foot. I'm like, holy crap, dude, you're a freaking badass.
And it hasn't even reached the apex of his badassery yet.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fairly certain about that. But then the flip side of that is that he is one of those types where he's a warrior who doesn't want to
fight.
He doesn't want to. He's tired of it. He's done enough. He doesn't want to do it anymore. So he's trying to put it away. So when he's not the badass that he is, he's the exact opposite.
Okay.
And
a
goofball, perverted, annoying lecher kind of thing. And I'm just like,
is he like,
you know that skirt's really short and I can see your panties, right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Is it like that orange-haired guy for Demon Slayer?
No, even worse. Like 10 times. Yeah, no, like 10 times worse.
And 10 times stronger.
10 times stronger, but 10 times worse as far as when he's not being in his warrior mode. Because, yeah, he just... The very first episode, we spent 10 minutes watching him being ping-ponged around as he keeps going up to women going, please marry me, please go out with me. And they go, ew, no, and smack him and have him just like catapult over to another girl who he does the same thing to, who smacks him and catapults him over to another girl who does the same. I'm like, we get the joke. Trust me, I get it. Girls don't like him because he looks funny and probably is perverted. I get it. I guess the only culmination of this is that he leaves because he's trying to protect the girl. He leaves and she basically, is yelling after him because he doesn't want him to go, and she wants to, and eventually,
I hate you.
Yeah, she says, "I hate you," and his number goes from negative 999 to negative 1,000. So, but that was kind of on him, I guess, sort of thing.
He kind of did that intentionally.
Yeah, he did. So, but anyways.
Hopefully you like time travel.
As far
That'll
as
eventually happen.
Going back and forth inside the actual, literal...
some of the characters actually go back in time.
Oh, okay. As long as they do it well.
I'd say it's actually done well.
Okay. If it's done well, then yeah, I totally be behind that. A lot of media doesn't really do it that well, so. Yeah. It's not. It's a good show.
You just don't like the character right now.
Done with him being a goofball for a while.
So he's your new
Tanjiro?
Afro dude?
No, not Tanjiro.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Basically. I wish he would not go into that. I mean, I get why he does, which is why I don't necessarily fault him for it. But at the same time, it's more of just an annoyance where we spent almost the entirety of the third episode with him going out on a fake proposed date, and even though it had been said, yeah, I can't even make this shit up. He was caught by the military, but one of the military who was the leader of that area of the town was a female who then he felt he made her think that she had rejected him, so she went out on a date with him, and then at the end her subordinate was like, "Oh, do you even realize that he was the guy that was in the wanted poster the entire time?" And she's like, "I told you he was." He's like, "I thought you were just going along with it." And it's like, did we literally just spend an entire episode doing that? Like,
So-
are you for real?
Unfortunately, that's not filler. That actually happened.
I get that. I don't know why.
Because he is who he is.
I mean, I guess they have
And-
24 episodes so they can do something like that, but at the same time, I'm like, that really shouldn't.
And just to let you know, she calls him Pudding Chan for the rest of the series.
Okay, well, I mean, in any chart, she is a character that is like in the picture there, so I guess she's going to be an ongoing character that's going to be now with him or something. I don't.
She shows up every now and then.
But I'm just still like,
And it was Zanitsu.
Can we? Yeah, Zenitsu was from Demon Slayer, but
Yeah.
it's like, can we move away from
From the
this,
silliness.
from the silliness, and get more to the? I like. It almost feels like you're teasing me. You're like, here's a badass. Look how badass. But we're not gonna show that. No.
No, he's
go-
going to be in a pudding outfit selling pudding to people.
Like, no, we secured 24 episodes. We're gonna stretch this out.
So we're gonna stretch this fucker out a lot.
Did her boss show up?
Not yet.
Okay. Once he does, there's pretty cool thing gonna happen.
I'm just like, it's tiring watching that. It's tiring. I feel tired after watching that. So I'm just like, you're teasing me. I don't like it. Just fucking show me what I want to see. I want to see the badassery. You gave me one episode of him being a badass, and you're like, but now we gotta go to something a little more lighthearted. And I'm like, no, we had badass. Let's continue going with the badass. So
I know you can do it. You know you can do it. Just show
fucking
me
do
the
Trust me, he'll get better. You'll
so-
probably grow to like him a lot more.
So, how many episodes have you watched? Are you current?
I've watched 3, so I think I'm current right now because the fourth one's not till Wednesday. So
As far as the story goes, other than the silly parts, how is the story going?
I don't even know at this point because we've spent so much time on the silliness. I don't know why she has the ballot. I don't know what the purpose of the ballot is. I don't know why she has to give it to the ace. I don't know if there's some underlying evil villain that her mother knew about that she has to give this power up to an ace in order to make sure the world gets saved. I don't know if the world's in danger. I don't know if the county's in danger. I don't know if the city's in danger. I don't know if she's in danger. All I know is people have numbers, and it's bad when you go to 0. That's all I know.
Somebody's past 0.
And somebody's past 0 and is obsessed with women's panties. I mean, that's my extent of knowledge of this.
Unfortunately, that's probably going to be your extent of knowledge for a long time.
So there you have it.
Unfortunately, you don't actually know what the story is until quite a ways in.
Okay. So, other than the main character, how do you like the other characters so far?
I'm perfectly fine with the other characters.
What do you think about the Gyaru?
Gyaru?
The black chick?
Oh, the one who he yeah, no, she's fine. I think she's cool.
Cool. Will you continue this show?
If just to learn what the fuck it is that I'm watching, then yes.
And also with hopeful things that what I'm saying is true.
Yeah, that we eventually get to the better moments of this. Cause
You'll learn his nickname soon.
Okay.
something about speed. I remember. I think they already mentioned it.
Okay.
He's just really
Man.
fast.
Well, he's also been nicknamed the Bloody Baron.
Oh, gotcha.
So other than the first episode where he was a badass, are there any other standout moments?
No,
Pudding.
no, because Pudding Chun annoys that whole thing annoyed the shit out of me. I will be completely 100% honest with you. I don't normally do this as far as animes go, but I was literally, as soon as like 5 minutes into this whole thing with him having a date, I was like every minute on the bar, I was like, let's skip that. All right, what's he doing now? All right, let's skip that because nope. Okay, what's he doing now? All right, let's skip that. And I'm like, have we seriously gone the entire fucking episode with him on a proposed date? What the fuck?
I think the few times that I remember you mentioning doing that are like episodes where they're like, this is episode 4. Why is this a recap? And you like click, not still recap, click, still okay, this whole episode's a recap. Skip.
Yeah. Yeah. That's usually the only time I ever do that, except in situations like this. So yeah.
Well, hopefully the story progresses. And,
I hope so.
But for now, that's all we got about that one. Is there anything you're looking forward to for this series, Us?
I'm waiting for kind of the revelation about the world that they're living in to hit Psycho. And I'm waiting for him to say, what the?
Gotcha.
Cool. I look forward to hearing that too in the next the final thoughts.
Am I gonna be happy about this, or am I gonna be pissed off about this?
Sounds bad.
Little
column A, little column B.
You're gonna be confused.
Okay.
Until it finally explains everything.
Okay.
Because even after it explains how the world is, there's still more that it hasn't explained.
Gotcha.
Cool. I look forward to that. So that's it for this show. The next show we're going to be talking about is Hatana Illusion, or something really long.
I like that. Something really long.
So this show falls in the category of like heist show, or like a super thief, like a Lupin the Third kind of show. That show that I keep bringing up, Daughter of 20 Faces. I need to watch that again. I wonder if it's on like DVD or something. But those shows I like. Like I like those adventure type shows where it's a heist or some type of adventure where the whole world is either doing their own thing and you're discovering the secrets of the world, or the whole world is after you because there's this misunderstanding and you're trying to prove something to them. This show so far hasn't gotten into that, but it does have the makings of it. So the girl in the pink outfit with the weird scarf. The scarf is like a magical object that I think she got from her mom, because they mentioned that her mom has magical objects called artifacts, and they haven't. Either they've said it and I completely missed it, or they haven't confirmed that that's another artifact from her. The the way the family is set up is there's dad. He's also a magician, and he goes across the world doing different things. I don't know if he's one of those like famous thieves, or if he's just an illusionist and does like puts on shows. The mom for sure is a thief, and the series basically starts out with she's talking to whoever she works with, like whoever she coordinates with for the heist. And kind of like that dude on the laptop that's like on the comms, be like, okay, they're down the hallway, you go to the left, and all that kind of stuff. They haven't shown any of her crew, but they basically just showed her she's in communication with somebody, maybe the husband, and she basically is about to start the mission, and the daughter shows up and he's like, I'm here too, I'm gonna help, and she's like, no, go home. And she's all disappointed, and then the mom just basically jumps off this building and like starts floating diagonally in this, and like her outfit's like flowing in the wind, all nice and perfect, and she's just slowly floating down to start the mission. And then
so she did a Princess Peach.
Yeah, yes, and she doesn't show up for the rest of the episode. They talk about her, but she doesn't actually show up. The two characters that are in the picture, they were childhood friends. They're still children, but they were like even younger friends. And the girl thought that her friend was a girl, and they were going to. They had some promise. I can't remember what the promise was. And they're about to get reunited after a few years, and she's like super excited, and she's like, she's gonna come live with us, and blah 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 this and blah 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 that. And there's some goal that I don't know, like they're leading up to something, and I don't know what it is. So I'm intrigued to find out what it is. And he basically shows up, and he's been talking with the dad to be like his apprentice and stuff like that. And the girl is just completely oblivious. I think part of it's been the dad's fault, where it's like he always has the upper hand, and it's because he doesn't explain anything. Like he's just like, she's about to start high school, and there's this opening ceremony, and there's this big thing where like all the parents go to, and he's like, all right, I'm off to go overseas. And she's like, well, what about the thing? And he's like, sorry, darling, I can't attend, but I'm off to magic stuff. Poof. And he like disappears. And I'm like, that's why she's always misunderstanding things, because nobody will explain it to her. Not the butler, not the nun, not the parents. So she's always like left out. And like, I can see why she tried to join the heist, because she's like, I've been training too. I can actually help pull off some of this stuff. I'm gonna just put myself into the mission. Mom's like, no, and then she just goes off. So it's like, I get why she's trying to prove herself from seeing the way her parents would interact with her, and I think that was something that she was looking very much forward to. Is like somebody to actually interact with her, and she finds out that he's going to be living there, and that he's also a guy. And she's very upset because she's like been betrayed again. And I think she just wasn't paying attention, or maybe he was a tomboy when he was younger. So she's upset about that, and it's basically like, oh great, everything that I'm trying to do gets ruined. So she's like lashing out because she misunderstood that situation, and then she's lashing out because her parents are now gone again. And I don't know what her goals are going to be now, but I'm kind of curious to find out. I'm like, is anybody going to explain anything to them? Is he going to be the one to explain? Because he actually talks to her, and it's like, I don't know. But when they first met, he was like, he had a deal with the dad. And he's like, yeah, you can stay here, and then blah, 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 and I'm going to go off to the magic stuff. Poof, and disappear. And she's like, she didn't know anything about the arrangements of, like, as soon as she found out that he was coming over and that he was a boy, then she's like, no, get out. And he's like, no, I already arranged it with your dad that I'm going to be staying here. And now she's like stuck and upset. So their dynamic, I'm kind of curious to see how that gets ironed out. Like, I'm pretty sure maybe some big event is going to happen. They'll have to team up and they'll become friends and there'll be a duo or something. I don't know, because the parents will be off overseas and you'll maybe see them in cameos. Don't know for sure. Or you'll find out like they have a bat lair or something like that. And the two parents are actually not part of the story. It's them finding out about their like magic lair and using their parents' stuff to continue their legacy, because maybe the accident happens overseas and they die or something like that, because that's usually what happens in a lot of different anime where both parents leave episode 1. So
I'm betting the mom's gonna get kidnapped
yeah, that's usually
or get captured, and then she's gonna be like, "We have to go save her."
Yeah, like it's some nemesis that the dad has that he hasn't been able to beat him, but now he has the mom, and then he can't win on his own, so the kids will have to team up with him or something like that. So it's like all these familiar storylines that happen in different series, and I can see how they'll form together. It's just I haven't been given enough information yet to be like, okay, this is how the show's gonna play out. So I'm in the stage where I'm like very interested until I hit like see all the familiar tropes, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is what this story is. So yeah, I'm very intrigued by this show. How many episodes I watched? One, like always. Do I like the story so far? Yes, I am absolutely intrigued. Do I like the characters so far? Oh, so the family has 2 butlers. They have this older guy. His name's Jeeves, and I'm like, really?
What an original name!
I know.
If I had a butler, that's what I'd call him,
That's
even if
just
his name was something else.
That's just like magic.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god.
No, that's worse than magic. That'd be like having the butler named
And or something. No, I'm sorry, I mixed that up.
have the butler be named Cleaner.
Yeah. So there's also the maid. There we go. I was like, what's a female butler? The maid. She is one of those like sneaky glasses experimenting on people type, but because she's not a scientist, her trope ends up being she likes setting up situations and like messing with people.
What?
Like the girl is in like the spa or something like that, and like I don't know how many spa rooms there are, but she probably told the guy to go into the spa that the girl also goes into sometimes, and she said that at the time that she knows that the girl went in there. So she's like, I'm gonna set it up to where they'll just bump into each other awkwardly. And of course that situation happens, and then she's like, I don't know. I feel like she's always plotting something to cause some kind of reaction. So like she likes toying with people. There we go. So, and she's like almost sly about it.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
So, what?
Are you done yet, Kat?
So it's not like from what is it? Attack on Titan, like that one that was experimenting and like named the 2 Titans that she had as like pets that were like she was doing experiments on. She's not like overtly crazy like that, but if somebody says like a certain word, she'll kind of like chuckle and like have that grin, and you're like, oh god, what is she up to? So it's like, she has that tick. I'm curious what mischief she's gonna start and like what kind of things will set up for them. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. She's my favorite character so far because I'm like, all right, what are you up to?
Out of here.
Will I continue watching the show this season?
Will you? Oh, it's in the vault. Okay.
Yeah. There's only one character that I'm like interested in, and there's like, I'm not interested enough well, I don't know. It's like the 5 shows that I missed, they're down to like 4. one was said is disappointing, so I'm like, oh, okay, that goes in the vault too. And I haven't even watched it yet. But yeah, there's still some stuff that I'm like really intrigued by, and there's some other stuff that I'm like really, really excited for. So yeah, this one will go into the vault. It is that genre that I do like, and I have finished shows that have this different aspects of the show. So are there any standout moments? The 2 things that the parents did, where the mom Princess Peached off the building. I'm like, are they gonna show like the illusionary feats that their parents do? Like, I wanna see that. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like that fantastical events. Like, it's a magic show. I'm curious to see more of that. The dad was kind of annoying, and I don't know. It's like I kind of want to yell at him some more because he shows up in the room with like the ninja smoke bomb. It's like, oh, where's Dad? He's like, poof, poof, I'm here, and it's like a whole room's full of like powder, and everybody's like nobody acknowledges all the powder that's in the room. But I'm like, hey, like, I bet the butler he's like, this is nice. This dude goes in, I'm gonna have to bust out the dustbuster and clean up all this. So,
Or G.
yes. So, yeah, he did that twice in the first episode. I'm like, all right. Then I'm like, is he actually competent as a magician? Like, for them to live in this mansion and for all this stuff to be going on, for him to be called overseas and all that kind of stuff, I want to see him in action. So, 2 glimpses are the standout moments for me of what the 2 parents can do. And yeah, that's all I have for that one. The next show we're going to be talking about is Somali Tomori Kamisama, or
Robot. Forest robot.
Yeah. What was
with a little girl.
So
yes.
Oh, so you watched this one?
Yes. Am I the only one?
Yeah, I didn't touch it.
You get some water.
I watched the beginning of it.
Okay.
And it's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel kind of like, I know there's probably gonna be more to it, but it felt like it was just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in that mindset right now. I'm like, okay, things need to pick up the pace. Y'all are dragging along.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of get to where we're going here. Let's see where the conflict lies. You know, I get the first episode is supposed to get the ground base of the world and everything, but it just seems so just slow. Yeah, it really did.
Okay.
I wanted to see a better word for it, but it really just seemed slow.
Okay.
So I don't know. What's your take?
Yes. So this is a slow burner. I wasn't sure from the trailer if I was going to be on board with this show. It
looks gorgeous.
Yes, it is a very beautiful show. There's this aspect to it where there's like Inuyasha type monsters where you're like, yes, that's definitely a monster. But with this show, all the characters and all the creatures have all these different styles and looks, and you have to look into their face to see if there might be a glimpse of evil that you can tell right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But then other characters can look nice and they'll be evil. Like you just can't tell. Like with any Inuyasha characters, you're like, that's a monster, that's a spirit, that is a fairy, and that's a demon. Like you could just tell by their design.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a horny teenage girl.
So yeah, I really like this show. This is one of the reasons why a lot of these shows get thrown into the vault, because got some heavy, some big, really, really nice done shows. So how far did you get in this one?
I didn't even finish the first episode.
I didn't touch it at all.
Like I probably got within, like, he was in the tavern talking with the someone about humans, essentially, and giving more of the backstory behind it. Okay. But that was probably like halfway through the story. I mean, halfway through the first episode, I want to say. And I'm like, really? We're just now getting to this halfway through the first episode? It's like, I'd have figured, like, just come on, get it over with. Let me know what's going on. Why are we doing this? Where is he even taking this little girl to? Why does he feel compelled to protect the little girl? He's a freaking golem.
Yeah.
Even the other monsters, when he said he was a golem, were surprised by the fact that he's a golem outside of his woods. They're like, you guys never go outside your woods.
Exactly, yeah. I wonder if they had, like, if the narrator guy, and if he kind of stepped in and be like, hey, in this world, this is how things work. And then cut to them on their journey, if that would have kept your attention.
Maybe.
Because they did kind of spin off into the backstory in the middle. It is interesting. Like, I am very curious about, like, the turn of events to get us to where we are now. So, like you said, the golem, he's he's a protector of the forest. He basically just kind of, I guess, wanders around or patrols and, like, fixes things that needs to be fixed. There is something going on with him that gets shown a little bit in the intro, and he did peek at it a little bit. So I feel like I'm gonna be sad later.
He looks kind of broken.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because we don't know a lot of information about what's going on. It's like, what is their lifespan? Is he at the end of the lifespan? And, like, he knows that he only has a certain amount of time left. So he finds someone who in need of help, and he knows the situation around the human from the human species. And he's basically like, you need to be in this location and you'll most likely be okay because they're friendly to humans here or something like that. And I know for sure that you don't know how to get there. So what I'm going to do is spend my last days getting you to safety or something like that. But that's all just guessing. And it feels like a solid guess from, like, the way the first episode played out. This little child, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, this little child is, man, like, zero attention span. He's like, oh, he's like, the golem's like, you need to stay by my side. And he's like, not all times. And then the golem's like, doesn't know how to come up with an answer for that yet. And then,
ooh, pretty butterfly.
Yeah, and then, a butterfly comes by and he's like, oh, and just runs off. And I'm like, you know that he runs off at the and it's like, he's like a computer. He's like analyzing the situation. He's like, okay, he's gone again. Let's see what happened. He's like, butterfly, and he runs off. I don't understand that yet, but hey, birds, can y'all help me find him? And the birds help him find him. He's like, cool, okay, let's try this again. Do not run off. I'm not gonna be by you all the time. And then I'm like, please tell him something because he's just going to run off again. And then a cat starts walking by and he's like, oh, kitty. And he just runs off. And I'm like,
see, I if I was the golem, I'd probably punt the kid.
That's why we won't put you in charge of the forest.
Get out of my forest.
So it's after 2 or 3 times of the kid running off, he finally explains, like, to the kid who, like, doesn't care what he's saying. Unless he says, like, the right word. He has to say the right word to be like, ooh, butterfly. But most of the words just kind of go in one ear and right out the other. And he basically is saying, like, he's constantly analyzing the situation. He's like, you little child, I need to figure out how to keep your attention, because as soon as something small pops up, you run off. And I think it's because he asked him a question. He's like, how do you always find me? And he's like, oh, well, this is your behavior, and this is how I can find you after that. And I'm like, don't tell him the secrets of how to be found, because then he's going to challenge that, and then you won't be able to find him. But he's just logical and explains the situation. So I'm like, he basically, when he went into town, he went into this one shop and he was trying to get money. And he found this jewel maker, and the jewel maker's like, sorry, I can't pay you that much. Like, in this area, I only can offer this much. And he's like, that is not acceptable. And the guy's like, I don't know what you want. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I only can pay you this much. And then he's like, and he splits open his face and starts analyzing stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's what, okay, that's covering up that eye. That's what that thing is. Okay. And then it's like, starts naming off like percentages and like different elements and stuff like that. And basically he just told the shop owner that his store is like 80% counterfeit. And the stuff that is not counterfeit is like of low quality. And he's like, do you know what that means? And then the guy's like, okay, fine. And like pays him the amount he was asking for. And I'm like, what does that mean? Can they not run phony?
You're a phony.
So yeah, I was like, I'm intrigued. I'm like, is he in like a certain part of the city that he can get away with that stuff? I'm like, are we gonna end up following another character, or like he can run into that? Like, I'm just curious about the world. So after he gets the proper payment, then he turns to where the kid was, and of course the kid's gone. The kid's following this cat, and the cat knows
said shit.
Yeah. So the kid.
Shit.
Yeah. He's looking for the kid's following this cat, and the cat knows that the kid's following him because he keeps like turning back. He's like, okay, guess we're going where I want you to go. And he ends up following like way off somewhere to where the golem is like, definitely needs luck to be able to find this kid. And he calls for the birds, and the birds find him. And before he gets there, the cat like hops into this kind of like, it was like a long alleyway where nobody could see anything, into this nice open area. And then the kid runs out there, and he's like, oh, where'd the cat go? And then the cat just kind of peeks his head, and he's like, I thought I would have just lost you, but you're really persistent. And then the cat starts walking up to him, and I can't remember the conversation that was had, but all the kid is thinking is, ooh, Kitty's back. And the cat's like, you're a weird one, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, ooh, Kitty, and starts like scratching his chin. And then the cat's like, what do you, oh, okay. So he's like, cut that out. And then he's like, nah, you're a nice kitty. And he starts like trying and like switching to purring and then trying to get mad and then purring again. So I'm like, I like this cat. But the more that the kid pets the cat, the more the cat picks up his scent. And he's like, wait a minute, you actually smell really, really delicious. And like the cat has like 3 vertical eyes above his regular eyes, and those open. And then he has this weird like Cheshire cat grin. And then the golem shows up and he's like, found you. And then he leaves. And I'm like, oh,
Kitty's gonna be following them.
this show is gonna be really good. So I definitely say give it another shot and see if it's too slow. But like for a lot of fantasy shows, it takes I don't know what the requirements are for me to be hooked. Whether it's like very silly, interesting characters, for them to have a premise that I've never seen before, or for the world to be so well built and the characters to be so well polished that I'm like, well then what about this and what about this? You haven't told me all the rules yet. I don't know how to judge this. Well then it's like, how many different types of demons are there? There's infinite. Be like, okay, I'll just stick with the ones you show me. So so it's like he keeps catching him in the first episode. I'm like, is there gonna be a time where he doesn't get there in time? It's like, probably. How many other, like in the picture you see just them two, but in the anime list page there's like 5 people, like 6 people all together. So I'm like, okay, well he's apparently gonna get a crew of people. And then I'm like, I already love these 2. What are these other characters going to be like? Are they going to be fleshed out as well as these main 2 characters? Most likely, because this show is very polished. So I am hyped. Like, this is finishing it this season, definitely. I always say that, but
Yeah. You didn't just watch one episode.
Yeah. So I've only seen episode 1, and I am absolutely
never mind.
So I will be catching up on the rest. Do I like the story so far? Absolutely, 100%. I feel like it's going to be sad toward the end. Do I like the characters so far? That cat is very interesting. He does look like he's going to show up very soon again, because he basically got really close to a secret that's trying to be protected. That this kid is a human. And demons almost ate all the humans, but for some reason, he's there, which means that there's most likely other humans there, which means that they're most likely hiding out somewhere, and hopefully this little dumb kid doesn't lead the demons to him, or the golem doesn't lead all the demons to the last few humans that are there. Yeah. Do I like the characters so far? Yes. Every single character that we spent time with is very well fleshed out. Will I continue the show this season? Yes, it is on top of the list. And are there any standout moments? This kid almost got eaten by a demon cat. As soon as he started talking about the smell, I was like, oh shit.
Nom.
So, yes, highly recommended. Yeah.
What? What, Black Kitty? What do you want?
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
Come on.
I'll give it another shot.
Come here, Black Kitty.
The next show we're going to be talking about is Railgun Tea.
I mean, I know you watched this. You watched this the first episode?
Yeah.
That's what I figured. I mean, I don't know what really more is. It's more of the same good stuff. I mean.
It's like Railgun's back. Go check it out. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know what to say about it. Honestly, it's Railgun. It's great show. They've got great characters. You know, they spent the first episode just going over the usual spiel of, and here's all the characters again that you remember, kind of thing. And I'm like, Cool. This is what she does. I will say the best thing about probably the first episode was we actually got a glimpse of the other level 5 that they have.
Yes.
That is the only thing I will say about it, really.
Yes. So I'm behind, like always, Index 3, and I need to refresh my memory on Index 2 and Railgun 2. But you watched Index 3, and
I watched part of Index 3.
Okay. So out of all the indexes, all the railguns, they haven't actually shown the other ones. They've always talked about them.
They've always talked about them, but they've never really shown them.
Okay. Yeah. Some of these powers. Oh my God. I will. It's Railgun. It's like everybody should be watching Index and Railgun. Like.
Well, fairness, I started reading Index.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to attack me? No. Why isn't my railgun working? No.
Because negate powers. Because plot armor.
And bad luck.
And really, really bad luck.
Bad luck, yes.
God, he has such horrible luck.
Caused by his own power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how many episodes have you seen?
For this one, I did the first 2. They only have 2 out so far.
Yeah, cool. I might use your 1 episode. Do you like where this is leading? Do you think that there's going to be there's most likely going to be something other than the sports event, right?
But see, it's like this is rehashing over 2. I want to say over Index 2. It's crossing over because before we had let's say before we had what's his name's view of the sports event. Now we're getting Railgun's view of the sports event.
So in Railgun S, it was the guy's view, or in Index?
I want to say it was an Index. Because this is the one where he was running with what's his face, because there's like some sort of like bomb at the center goal or something like that was supposed to go off, because this is the Aztec people doing this or whatever. Like I recognized it as soon as we started going into it, and I'm like, oh, this is what was happening. Gotcha.
And this is Index 2 or 3?
I want to say it was 2. I want to.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go back to. Okay, cool. So explain the other side of what was happening. Which is cool.
Yeah. This is now her perspective on what was happening. So.
Man. Okay. Have we talked about who's our favorite characters out of Railgun?
I mean, they have so many characters.
Yeah. I don't want to say the Railgun, and then I don't want to say the teleporter girl, because she's half and half. Like she's half awesome, half annoying. And then it's like the flower hair girl's kind of woe is me, and then but she's like she get pulled through when the situation calls for it. Mm-hmm. And then the other girl is even more woe is me, and then she reaches deep down and get in very, very dangerous situations to kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of that crew, I'm like, you don't like that. There's other characters that I would think would be cool, kind of like that one character who ended up being the villain, but then ended up being a good person later, but then she disappeared. And I'm like, she was kind of cool. I liked her. Like that's one of those characters where they try to show you the backstory of why the villain is doing what the villain is doing. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, I was against her, but then now I'm kind of on her side. How about y'all team up? And then I don't know. So it's all the characters are very well developed, and I can't really like pick one.
I mean, they're all good, so it's not like it's. By the way, don't you knock that over? They're all good, so it's not like it's a. I mean, there's just not one. There's not one standout character because they all do good things.
Yeah. I would say the characters that they introduced, one character I'm worried about because she scared me a little because of her power. Because I'm like, I was like, how do you even deal with that?
Well, apparently Railgun can because her ability negates it to a degree.
Yeah, but then I'm like, nobody else's, and she has a lot of people that she cares about. So I'm like, I feel like hostage situations will happen. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel kind of stressed. Like it's like as soon as she's like, oh, I can do this remote, and I'm like, oh no, that's not cool. That's gonna be a lot of trouble to deal with.
Because no one who she did it to even remembered themselves doing it. They just when she turned it off, they were like, why am I standing up? I wasn't standing up before.
And I was like, oh,
and the fact that she has a following is kind of scary too, because it's like, wait, you have to know what her powers is. You have to know. Why are you okay with this?
Yeah.
So sorry about this, but something came up. I gotta go.
Okay.
So, talk to y'all later.
All right.
Catch you later.
I think we're about done anyways. Getting close, I think.
Yep, last two shots.
Okay.
So I will switch to this and let's see what happens.
Ah! I'm cutting out. There we go.
There's this, and then I turn this off and here. Yeah! Booyah!
So I mean, in general, it's just it's a great show. I enjoy seeing the powers. I enjoy seeing their activities with each other. But again, I don't know. I can't really say much about as far as what I would like to see in this because all we're doing is rehashing over just in a different perspective of what we've already done and seen.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Okay. Big question. Will I continue the show this season? I
probably will.
I need to watch the other ones because I feel like I learned half of the story and then I completely forgot half of it. And then now I'm going to learn the other side, which is kind of expanding on what I already should know or what I knew back in the past. And then I'm going to still be lost. So, yeah. I would like to. Hopefully, it works out. That again. Are there any standout moments? The remote.
Yeah, that remote was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I was stunned. But yeah, Railgun's back. Go check it out. All right. The next show and the last show we're going to be talking about is Welcome to Demon School, Eater Raccoon.
Shame Spud has to leave, but because I know he's been the more into this one.
Yeah.
I started watching this one after we had discussed it last time.
Yes.
Just from Spaz's recommendation.
Yes.
It's an interesting show. It's a good show. Nothing like mind-blowing or amazing about it. It's just so I mean, like Spaz said before, this kid got sold by his parents to a demon to become his grandson. And it's his day-to-day life in trying to hide the fact that he's human to all the demons at his school.
Yes. One thing I want to it's funny the past of this show because it's like I watched the first episode when it first started airing, and then what was it? And then Spaz talked about it, and then now you're talking about it. I don't think there's any show that's kind of like passed one at a time through each of the co-hosts.
It's true. It's true. Like I said, it's not anything horrible. It's just not anything amazing, I would say. You're getting to it, and the thing is, it's like there are some people who have already figured out that he is, in fact, human. But for some reason, it doesn't seem like it's become an issue.
Okay.
Which is kind of strange to me. It's like we've built this whole thing up saying, oh my God, you can't let anyone know that you're a human. Yet the frickin' student council president knows he's human, and that's fine for some reason. She hasn't like told anyone, blabbed to anyone, said anything to anyone, and I'm like, are we okay with this? I mean, what is it that we're doing here? It seems to me things are escalating as usually happens in most animes and whatnot. So I don't know if that's going to come to a head. They keep alluding to the fact that he might become the next, because there's no demon lord that's supposed to rule over all, and they almost seem to kind of be alluding to that as being a possibility.
Okay.
Which will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the ceremony is. It'd be like, you must add a drop of your demon blood to this thing, and then it just doesn't work.
Well, so there have been things like in his school where he's supposed to have done certain specific things, like in order to, you're supposed to summon your familiar. Well, he's a human, so when he tried to summon a familiar, his teacher at the time gave him a circle summoning and said, you need to put a drop of your blood on here, and then you hold it like this, and then you summon your familiar. Well, because he's human, who would he summon? His teacher, who's the one who made the circle in the first place. So his teacher became his familiar.
Oh my God.
And everyone was okay with this, thinking, oh my God, he made another demon his familiar. So it's like,
That is funny.
And there have been other things too, like he had to do this like obstacle race or something, and he ends up coming across, the old story of like the lion and the mouse, where the mouse pulled the thorn out of the lion's paw and became friends with him. Well, it sort of was the same thing here, because there was a monster that no one wanted to approach, and everyone thought was really bad. But when he approached, the thing was, he saw what the problem was, and he tried to bandage. They had a wound. Well, he had cut himself in order to prove to the monster that what he was trying to do was benevolent. And when the monsters saw this, they put their leg out in order to get bandaged. Well, the thing is that he ended up having a drop of his blood hit the wound, and it healed the wound.
Okay.
So, which was an interesting little thing to happen. So there's like these little interesting little things that happen throughout, and I think that's what keeps me watching and keeps me intrigued. But at the same time, it's like you know where it's heading to. You're like, where this has got to go, basically. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'll continue watching it, and I'll see what happens. But I feel like our culmination for this is just going to end up being he's going to become Demon King. Is what we're winding up towards.
Okay. Are there any other people who would are like candidates for it too?
Yeah, there are a few.
Okay.
There are a few, but each time they mention something about the Demon King, the way they describe it makes you believe more and more that it's going to be the kid.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
well,
How far are you in it?
well, I think the next newest episode came out sometime this week. I haven't watched it, but only one episode behind.
Okay, cool. Just about current. That what probably 14, 15?
14, I think.
Okay.
I think. I can see real quick because I have it on my Crunchyroll, and I am on. Well, the current episode is 17,
Okay.
so I'm on 16.
Cool. So for this show to kind of do the rounds and like start from me and then pass around to everybody else, it seems like you're liking the story so far. Do you think there's going to be like a conflict at the end for him to actually take the seat, or do you think that he's like?
Oh, there's got to be. There's more than likely going to be.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not going to come. See, I think the thing is that he's made enough friends and acquaintances along the way that I think they're going to back him up.
Okay.
I just don't know to what extent.
Okay.
So.
Good. Who is your favorite character?
I would have to say my favorite character is the oh god, it's the girl who's one of his friends. She's just so silly.
The green haired one.
Is that yeah, the green-haired one.
Okay.
She is just absolutely the silliest. Just because she's happy-go-lucky, and it kind of is one of those things where I watch and I'm like, you feel you almost can't help but feel the kind of joy that she represents because of that.
Okay.
Because even when things are bad, she's still just like, it's hard to explain. She's just like, I want things to go boom. Let's go boom. And then she's like, I'm gonna roll into a ball and go bowling myself down the hall. Or and she was trying to get inside the student council room, and the guy with the pink hair was trying to stop her, and she thought it was a game. She was just like, oh, you're gonna play? Oh, let's do this. You're just like, no, it's not a game. He's trying to keep. Ah, god damn it.
Okay, that does sound like fun.
She's just a fun character, I think.
Okay.
She's just fun enough to where she's not annoying about it, but she's still fun.
Okay. Cool. So yes, you said that you were going to finish it. Are there any standout moments other than?
Not really. I mean, they're all like interesting and good. I mean, like I think, like I said, the two moments that I've said to you so far of kind of alluding to the fact that he's going to become the next Demon King have been about the only real like quote unquote standout moments. So, I mean,
Cool. Yeah, I remember starting this one, and I think when I had talked about it, I was like, it was interesting, and it'd be in the vault instead of like at the bottom of the list.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I hope you're actually creating that list and actually having it to where you know where it's at.
Yeah, I think what I'll end up doing is like a chronological thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what year I'm gonna start, but because I
bad that you have years to go back on.
Yeah, because
oh,
so because I think I had mentioned it before. Like I kind of want to go back to like the year I started and like kind of pick some of the ones that are in my genre and do like a whole thing. My goal is to still do that. Whether it'll happen anytime soon, I don't know. But I do like over the last couple, over the last few seasons, with me like starting new things and like this whole year being slightly different, um, anime has been kind of like the shows. There have been some shows that were like really good and I did finish, but none of them have been like the caliber of the shows that came out this season where like I must find out what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not preoccupied by other things going on that I like I'm only able to get to two. Like things are starting to slightly open up and I'm like I hit some really, really good shows. So I wanted to keep going in that direction to where then like we can have segments on the show where it's like, oh, history lesson. or the Netflix graveyard where it's like we'll pick some stuff that like aired way like a year ago, but we couldn't watch it weekly because it was on Netflix or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Blast from the Past. There we go. Blast from the Past and Netflix graveyard. I would like to have segments like that on the show. Like after we do the regular show, then we hit like go into those. It's just that list is real long, and it'd be kind of cool to have it to where like maybe people can vote. They're like, watch this one. So it will happen. Whether it happen 2020, 2025, don't know. But yeah. So that's the last show that we have for today. First episode of 2020. First episode of the new decade. This year starting off pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the episode where we could take a sneak peek of the next season because the next episode is going to be the upcoming season.
Ooh, you're right. Let's see. Do they even have the?
Yep. Let's see. Digimon won't be able to watch it.
Yeah, because you know that's going to be on.
Straight up TV broadcast. Oh, that Dropkick show has a second season.
I told you about that.
No Guns, No Life 2. And I'm actually current. And I'll be able to just go from one season to the next. ReZero's back. I don't have to rewatch that because it was so good.
Oh, and the sequel season to Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Okay.
I actually caught up on that.
Wait, what? The blue hair girl?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. I binged out that whole thing in one night.
Wow. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to watch it then.
Fruit Basket season 2, really.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
The basketball show. So I'm like, I don't know how serious that's gonna be.
Oh, looks like they have a fishing show.
There's Fujo Kenji Balance Unlimited. That looks like a serious show, kind of like the caliber of what was that one mob show that it was like really rainy and dark and gray, but I think we all watched it. Bouquet and Cyborg were here when we did that one show. Glenpnir looks creepy.
Here. There.
Eilish.
Ooh,
Man.
and Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of the Underworld Part 2.
Oh, I gotta catch up. Guess who's actually started Sword Art? Deep.
Really?
Yup.
Like back from the first season?
Yup.
Oh, God. He's got a ways to go.
Yeah. I think he's already at Gun Gale before it was called Gun Gale. So he's actually like trudging through it pretty quickly. He's already past me, which I gotta catch up. But yeah, from scanning over the next season, it looks like there's some pretty interesting shows.
Yeah.
We will be back on the 23rd.
Oh, wow. 23rd.
To talk about our
Oh, yeah, because
thoughts.
it's February.
Yeah.
I forget, short month.
Actually, is it a leap year? For some reason,
Yeah, it is a leap year. It
Yeah.
has 29 days. But it's even the leap year is still a short month.
Yep.
It's just a shorter month when it's not a leap year.
Yep. So, yeah. We'll be back February 23rd to talk about our initial thoughts on the synopses and trailers for spring of 2020. Wait a minute. Is this what? I think I see the trailer for the fourth Evangelion remake movie.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to come out here real soon. If not, it's already out.
Wow. How long did they take to make those 4 movies? Like 10 years?
It puts it's right up there with Hellsing Ultimate. That's all I know.
Oh man, that's gonna be interesting. All right, but yeah, that's it for today's show. We'll be back on the 23rd for the next episode. We'll talk about the upcoming upcoming trailers and synopses for the season of for the spring season of 2020. Yeah, as always, this is Big D and Shade from TacoYaki Anime. Today with us was Spaz, and he'll most likely be joining us again for the next episode. But yeah, as always, I'd like to thank y'all for watching. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Thanks for supporting the channel in any way that you do. And before I say this last part, I forgot. There will be an announcement on Friday's stream at the beginning. Also, I was told to taste 92% dark chocolate. I don't know where. I think they sell it at Target. I have to go check. But I'll be trying that, and then after that, I'll be making an announcement if I survive.
You'll survive.
Because I hear it's terrible, but
What, dark chocolate? Or 92% chocolate?
92%.
That's fine.
But yeah. As always, thank y'all for watching. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Thanks for supporting the channel any way that you do. And we will see y'all next time.